The views and opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show host, guests, and viewers. We are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any of our sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that we will be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience. Good Saturday evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. Tonight, sponsored by Southern Gem Photo Booth and Start. Not only do we bring fun to your event, we make it picture perfect. And by Schuster and Saban Attorneys at Law, the leading firm in Florida in the field of personal injury protection, claims for medical professionals. This is your show, coming to you on Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday and Saturday night. You control and run this show. We are just the rudder that steers this big old vessel. We bring it to you first for education, discussion, and debate of local news, politics, and sports, as well as the latest on the COVID-19 situation. We have you covered from Middleburg to Melrose to McIntosh, from Lake City to Lake Butler to Lake Como, from Waldo to Williston, from Lodi to Lulu, where I did officially today see Mitchell Gunner's extended family, the Sasquatches, Daddy Joe Dirt, Mama Betty Sue Lynn, brothers Sally Mae, and sister Billy Bob, and all points in between, including Gainesville, Palatka, Ocala, and of course, right here in beautiful Stark, Florida. Now, here's your on-the-spot team, making it happen every single week. First, putting it all together behind the scene, our executive producer, Super Dave Holland. Say hello, David.
Hello, everybody.
And keeping the show to the flow, and flow to the show, should I say, is our director. He's working tonight, Michael, the Dragon Slayer Heater. Rounding out the team is Austin Storm Chaser Stevens. And in studio tonight with us, making his way up from Tampa, Florida, John, better than Snopes Probes. Say hello to everybody, John.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, there you go. And our great media partners, WEAG Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Velez, and the Bradford County Telegraph. And now our co-host to my right and your left with local news and breaking information, Mitchell, the local voice on current events, Gunter.
Good afternoon, everyone.
There you go. How's your family doing in Lulu, by the way? Don't answer that. And to my left, you're right. Here's our historian and governmental whiz, Byron, the freedom fighter, Bagwell.
Good evening, infidels.
And I'm your host, David Rodgers, the voice of the Bradford High Tornadoes and
the
Show Pony.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live from the On the Spot studios right here along historic Call Street in beautiful downtown Stark, Florida. Only 2,770 miles from Hungry Joe, Montana. Have you ever been there, Byron?
No.
Good grief. So let's get started, as we always do, with our prayer, our pledge, and the patriotic wisdom from the freedom fighter himself, Mr. Bagwell. Let us all pray, and I'm going to ask you, Mr. Bagwell, if you will lead us in prayer tonight, sir.
Sure will.
All right.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the gifts you have bestowed upon us and our country. We ask you to bless every single person here. Thank you especially for our military, and they are always fighting for our freedoms and our rights. Please bless every single person that's involved with the rioting that is going on in our country. Put a hedge of protection around the innocent people who are involved, and separate the ones out that deserve justice. Thank you so much for the food that you bring each and every one of us every day. Thank you. Bless it to the nourishment of our body. Keep us safe also from the COVID-19 virus that is ravaging this country right now. We ask all of these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ.
And we say amen.
Amen.
All right, let us stand for the pledge. And I'll lead us tonight in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hurrah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to On the Spot with David Rodgers. We are here live with you this beautiful Saturday night, and now it's that time for our freedom fighter, Mr. Bagwell. What do you have for us? And if I may, sir, I've got a quote of the day as well.
Well, I've got a quote of the day that I have been posting up this week pretty regularly.
Okay.
Not by one of our founding fathers, but
Okay.
it's by one of the greatest presidents that we have ever had.
Okay.
And if I can get my phone to actually cooperate with me, go ahead and give your quote.
Okay.
I don't know why this is crazy.
Here we go, Dave. And John, how about this one? Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success has no meaning. You know,
Wow.
I hear everybody right now with this thing going on with the rioting and the George Floyd thing. You know, we need improvement. We need achievement. We need success. We need people to get on board with Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter. And I just picked this one out, Byron. I seen this. And guess who said that, by the way?
I want to say it might have been President Trump.
Nope, it was actually your great-great-great-grandfather, Mr. Benjamin Franklin.
Wow.
Sure did.
Okay, I've got another one.
Okay.
My phone is acting crazy tonight for
All
some
right.
reason. Give me just 1 second. It actually picked it back up from the spot. We must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty rather than the lawbreaker. It is time to restore the American precept that each individual is accountable for their action.
I know who said that. That has to be President Ronald Reagan.
That would be right.
I remember him saying that.
Yes. That is Ronaldus Magnus.
Yes. Yes. So, absolutely a great quote. I knew that was President Reagan. Like Byron said, one of the greatest presidents of all time.
The greatest president that I've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people think that I think Donald Trump is.
Right.
But to me, in my lifetime, Ronald Reagan
Yeah.
it
There's
did more
no
for
doubt.
the American public in this country than any other president. Now, let's see what happens at the end of this next term if
Right.
he gets reelected, what he can do.
Right.
But right now, in my heart, it's Ronald Reagan.
Before we delve into today's latest, we want to recognize our great sponsors who have been working hard with limited staff and changing hours. This is our sponsor spotlight. Fun Point Food and Arcade, Southern Gem Photography, Miracle Automotive and Recovery, and Dependable Waste Services.
We have jewelry on Call Street, Brittany Leanne Creations, Suster and Saban Law Offices, and the Downtown Grill.
Harry Business of Stark, Boogie Nights DJ Service, Designs by Probes, On the Spot Lawn Maintenance.
There we go. And now, here's your quick and dirty tonight, brought to you by Fun Point Food and Arcade in Stark, Florida. Check out the all-new menu on Facebook or go to www.funpointstark.com. 5 people were killed, including 4 from Gainesville, when a plane crashed in Putnam County, Georgia. The FAA confirms a Piper went down on Tanya Road in Eaton on yesterday. That should have been Florida, I do believe. No, it was really Eatonton, Georgia. Man, isn't that crazy? How about that? So we got a little something in common with that, Michael. The pilot from Morriston and the family of 4, including 2 small children, died when the plane went down on the way to New Jersey. Then TSP and the FAA are investigating this. Marion County deputies arrested a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old after they stalked and shot at the victim with a paintball gun. The suspects crashed into the victim's vehicle and left the scene. Deputies were able to find them, their wrecked car, and their paintball gun, along with some marijuana. Both juveniles now have felony charges against them. FHP and Columbia County were involved in a high-speed chase that began near Lake City Thursday evening and entered Union County on West State Road 100. The suspect was waving a gun at law enforcement and nearly struck numerous vehicles. Union County deputies blocked intersections in Lake Butler to prevent the suspect from hitting anyone. The suspect crashed several times but continued to evade law enforcement. Eventually, the suspect crashed on Southwest 4th Avenue at Delk in Lake Butler, and the driver was quickly taken into custody to face numerous felony charges. Bradford County deputies recovered a missing runaway juvenile from Bradenton, south of Tampa, around 3 o'clock this morning following a crash on US 301 north of Star. BCSO deputies and firefighters responded to US 301 and County Road 233, which is Morgan Road, for a car that flipped several times. The 15-year-old driver, who was listed as a runaway by Bradenton police, was checked out for a minor injury and then taken to the sheriff's office until his mother could arrive from Central Florida. Flagler County deputies and SWAT, led by Sheriff Rick Staley himself, raided a reported drug house this morning on Raymer Drive in Palm Coast. The home has been under surveillance for some time now. Here is your weather update, sponsored by Austin's Weather Service out of Keystone Heights. Find AWS on Facebook for the latest information.
Hey, good evening, Dave. A tropical storm Cristobal is the big weather story as the system will be nearing the northern Gulf of Mexico coast later on tomorrow. Warnings have been issued for the life-threatening storm surge and tropical storm force winds. Heavy rain and high surf rip currents are also expected with this storm, but not a direct impact to Florida as far as the tropical system goes. Meanwhile, there's an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms across parts of the northern plains later on tomorrow. Locally, we'll see more sloppy and soggy weather tonight and through tomorrow. In fact, lasting all the way through Monday. Rain totals approaching 1 to 1.5 inches of rain are expected, and you can expect most consistent rain to be over inland counties and the southern counties of the area. Expect mostly cloudy skies and temperatures in the mid-80s, with waves of showers rolling throughout your Sunday. Monday will be a little bit warmer, a little bit less of a chance of rain. Scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms expected across the region. Clouds will be starting to clear as we go through the afternoon, with temperatures topping out close to 90 degrees. Dave, back to you.
Thank you, Dragon Slayer, Mr. Michael Heater. And once again, this weather report brought to you by Austin's Weather Service of Keystone Heights. Find AWS on Facebook and get a local forecast sent right to you. We finally got it, and we now know who Mitchell's great-great-great-great-grandfather really is. Drum roll, please. The leading Roman architect of the 17th century, Carlo Maderno Gunter.
Very smart man,
Yeah, you like that one?
but still not my great-great-great-great-grandfather.
So we're still missing.
Still missing. Yeah,
Are you kidding me? Keep digging?
Keep digging.
All
Get
right, we
closer.
will. Up now is our local report with the all-knowing Mr. Mitchell Gunner, brought to you by tonight, Miracle Automotive Recovery in Stark and McClinney. When you have an automotive crisis, gentlemen, don't pray for a miracle. Call Miracle at 904-368-1114. Before you get started there, Mr. Mitchell Gunner, just want to welcome in some people right here. Of course, our all-important viewers, Jamie Harvey, Donald Stevens, and Bart Norton, thank you for joining. Dwight Allen, good evening, brother. Lisa Moody Tomlinson's on, good evening. Robert McGee, and God Bless America, absolutely. Archie Waters is on. Randy Scoggins is on. I heard 3 guys put a hurting on a Lake City buffet today.
I don't know anything about that.
I don't know anything about that either, but we may talk about it here in just a little bit. Carlton Jones is on. Shirley Bagwell is on, and thank you again, Miss Shirley, for all that you do for us and our team. We see this beautiful strawberry cake over there. Yeah, can you bring it up over here, Byron, and show everybody what we're going to be diving into? Well, y'all already dove into it. I'm going to have to get my piece. Y'all put a hurting on that cake. Look at that. Oh, my goodness gracious. My. We're going to get us a piece of that here shortly.
We had to wait.
We got to wait, yeah. How about that? Y'all just scarfed in, you and Mr. Dave Holland, didn't you?
Okay, a little disclaimer. Me and Dave Holland did not eat that much cake.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I beg to differ. I know that they did. Mitchell?
They look like they were
Ooh,
chewing down a
chewing
pretty good
down.
piece.
Don't be fibbing.
Miss Bagwell, I promise you.
My
I had
mother
no-
knows better than that because guess what?
There was
What?
actually 2 pieces missing
There
out
was
of
2
all this.
pieces missing out of it already.
Golly.
Good try.
Good try. Gosh, I couldn't pull that one off. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I am your host, David Rodgers. To my left right here is Mr. Byron Bagwell. To my left over here, behind the scenes, is our producer, Super Dave Holland. Back behind us and joining us from Tampa in the last couple of months is John, better than Snopes Probst, running some of the computer work and doing some things for us. Glad to have him on tonight. And over here to my right, of course, you've got a lot of family members everywhere from Lulu to the 17th century. Mr. Mitchell Gunner, Mr. Michael Heater is actually working tonight. We are known by several different nicknames. Did you know that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. The Dancing Destroyers, the Kings of Information, the Counts of Economic Prosperity, the Princes of Law and Order, the Masters of Protecting the Nation and People, the Sultans on Terrorism, the New Freedom Fighters, the New Sons of Liberty, the Defenders of the Republic, the Show-Pony Express, and, of course, thanks to Neil Bortz, the new High Priest of the Church of the Painful Truth. How about those? The Dancing Destroyers.
Dancing Destroyers was good.
That was good, wasn't it? I
The
see you on the
economic
side.
one was pretty good too.
Yeah, you like that? How
We
about
talked
the,
about Ronald Reagan, and I
Yes,
couldn't help
we
but
did.
think about him when you said that.
when I said that? How about the Kings of Information? Do you like
yeah,
that?
that's pretty good.
Yeah, we're going to come up with another one on that one, but we're known by 11 different names.
Yeah,
How about that?
yeah,
You know where some of those names come from? Down in Tampa, where John's from.
really.
Where John's living, he ain't from there. Yeah, some of those names came filtered from there.
Good.
Yeah, people watching down in Tampa, people watching in Sydney, Australia, people watching in Auckland, New Zealand, people watching
Auckland?
in
Auckland.
Auckland. Yeah. How about Milan, Italy?
I can-
Paris, France.
I can
Jeddah,
do-
Saudi
I
Arabia.
can deal with all of those.
Yeah, how about that? Johannesburg, South Africa.
Johannesburg.
Yeah, how about that, huh? Yeah, how about Cairo, Egypt?
Yeah,
Yeah, all kinds of people tuning in.
yeah.
Yeah, how about this? Hamilton, Bermuda.
Really?
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
hits from Hamilton, Bermuda.
Do we have
St. John's, Antigua.
How about Venice? Or not Venice? How about Vienna?
I don't know about Vienna, but let's include them.
That's no Austria.
No Austria.
Yeah,
no.
man.
But hey, the Prague. Yeah, Czech Republic
Prague.
checked in.
Prague.
Yeah, sure did.
Prague.
Yeah, how about that, huh? How about
How about we
Halifax,
go-
Nova
wait,
Scotia?
Wait a minute. I know a great little, what we would call a bar that is right outside of the Opera House.
Me too.
Basically, part of it's inside and part of it's outside.
Right.
In Prague.
Right.
That we could do the show from.
Okay, well we're in.
I'm okay with that.
We're okay with that.
Okay.
We get this.
You're paying for airfare, right?
Well, no.
Right now, I'm paying for airfare because we could probably all go over there for about $100 a piece.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, if something comes to fruition, maybe we can. Anyway, Charles McKinney, welcome in. Mark Udi, welcome in. That's Jeff Udi's brother, by the way. We're going to go to our local section with our man, Mitchell, the Dancing Destroyer Gunter.
Well, I'll tell you.
Yes.
Hey, I've been known to catch the rug on fire when I dance. So
Literally. They actually kind of had to call Michael Heater to come put it out.
put it out.
Is
That's
that because
right.
someone set it on fire to get you
Yeah.
I used to dance back in the day. Probably can't do it as good now. But anyway, I want to start off this evening.
Thank you for the laugh because he's going into something tonight that's going to make my blood
Yeah,
boil.
the Dancing Destroyer. Oh, boy.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the COVID-19 update. For the state of Florida, we have 62,758 positive cases. 1,512 of those are non-Florida residents. Bradford County, we're up to 52 cases, 2 deaths. Clay County, 396 cases, 32 deaths. Putnam, 173 cases, 6 deaths. Alachua County, 396, 8 deaths. Levy County, which had a big spike this week, are now up to 58 and 1 death. Union County, 36 and 1 death. Duval, 1,764 and 53 deaths. St. Johns County, 272 and 6 deaths. And Columbia County, 171 and 2 deaths.
If I can I back you up a little bit on that as well, since you were talking about the COVID and the virus here. Just a news flash right here. We'll put this on our website. The Bradford County Health Department is having a drive-through coronavirus testing site next Friday. Guess where? At the Bradford County Food Pantry, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. They will be there around 11 a.m. Any volunteers can be tested. Anyone picking up food can, or if you are not doing either, picking up food this week but need the test, you're all eligible. You can do it. You do not have to be exhibiting symptoms. You may have had some minor symptoms and not realize it was the virus. Any minor, though, will require a parent's signature. They can be obtained at the health department, beforehand, or picked up and signed when getting tested. It will only take a few minutes. So this Friday at the Bradford County Food Pantry around 11 a.m., coronavirus testing, and we'll put that out there, Mitchell, for everybody to see.
Appreciate it, David.
Really quick. When we do the COVID-19, I haven't been able to find this in any place. Maybe Michael Heater can help us with this. But when we break down the deaths, I would like to do the breakdown of the deaths that have occurred coming out of ALFs.
Okay. Yeah.
Assisted living facilities.
Right.
What everybody knows as nursing homes. Because I would be willing to make a bet that the majority of those numbers of cases from these counties and the majority of the number of cases from Florida all have occurred in nursing homes.
Would be willing to bet that as well.
All right, now we'll get into the Bradford County school system. Starting on June the 8th through the 11th, a student or a guardian of a senior can pick up their tickets for their family to attend the graduation. The high school graduation will take place on Friday, June the 19th at 8 p.m., and they have a fallback date of June the 20th, just in case the weather's not cooperating. Also, the Bradford County Middle School 8th grade graduation will be held Monday, June the 15th at the Bradford High School, starting at 6 p.m. at Davis-Hurst Stadium. The Bradford School Board will also here on Monday, on Tuesday, they will be having a school board meeting. This meeting is for a termination of a teacher. This special meeting will take place on June the 9th of the former teacher, Mark Scott. Now, everybody, if you want to know what's going on, you can tune in. They will be broadcasting that meeting through Zoom. You can go to the website, global.gotomeeting.com/join/354226341. Or you can call 1-872-240-3311 and use the code 354-226-341 so you can actually participate and see what's going on in that meeting. Also, in Bradford County news, Bradford County is asking for $235,000 river grant. This money will be used for a trash trap. The trap will be installed there at Alligator Creek near the Stark treatment plant. Now, we do have a resident here in Bradford County that says that he thinks a trap could be done for $500.
Right.
And one of his concerns which is Paul Steele, is that not only would this trash trap catch trash, but it will also stop large limbs and logs that may obstruct the flow and will cause some upstream flooding. Now, I know they are working very hard on this. Now, this grant money will have to come from the New River Water Management.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not a done deal yet. I imagine that they will have some county meetings upcoming to discuss how everything's going to play out. And I know one of the things that Paul Steele had been talking about was other obstructions further
Correct.
up,
Right.
with down trees,
Yep.
that's blocking the waterway there as well. And I imagine that our county commissioners and emergency management will look at those issues and try to take care of those problems as well.
Right.
You know how
Go ahead.
you know how important that is to keep all these waterways open.
Yes.
Right.
Back in the early '90s, they didn't touch them for years, and I lived out on 16, and I had over almost 2 foot of water in my yard
Yep.
because of the
Of the
blockage.
obstructions.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and we do have a lot of those problems that they're probably attending to as we speak. But the one reason why they need that trap there to catch trash is because we're having so much trash that is coming from the stormwater drains
Right.
that flow into there, and
Yeah.
that trap is also to help protect our lakes. Which if you don't know, Alligator Creek it flows all the way into Crosby and Sampson Lake and Ryle. They're all tied in.
And then Samson,
Right.
and on the back side of it, it actually goes through what everybody will know as three pipes.
Three pipes.
And then it goes into the Santa Fe River.
Right.
So is it just one, or is it a series of traps down through the waterway?
They're only going to put that one trap up, and it will be placed right there at that sewage treatment plant, right off of Edwards Road.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be concerned at all about logs floating down Alligator Creek. The Alligator Creek's not going to support a log flowing down through it, especially past those railroad tracks that are right behind the Taco Bell. There's no way in the world a log is getting through that.
Right. No, I agree with that.
There's no way, and I can tell you that because I lived basically when I was younger. I lived right behind where I'm talking about, down at the end of South Cherry Street, and I was down there all the time fishing and being a kid. And there's no way a log is going to flow
No,
down
I
Alligator
agree.
Creek right there. There's no way.
I mean, I see where Paul's kind of coming
I
from. Worrying about the trees further up.
Absolutely, I agree with
that
that.
may be laying across there and blocking certain areas.
Yeah, if a
You
tree
know.
is laying across it,
Yeah.
but that trap is in between where I was just talking about,
Right.
which is off of 301 and back behind the recreation
It's
park
hard.
off of Edwards Road.
And the brush is cut back pretty far
It
through
is.
that
you're,
area.
You're not floating a log down it. Now, you may float sticks down it, but you're not going to float what people think of as a log down Alligator Creek at that point, unless they really dredged it out. Because you're just not. It's just that creek is not going to support something that
Right.
big floating.
Can you repeat those numbers again on that? I know Paul Steele thinks it could be done for $500.
Oh yeah, they're asking for a grant for $235,000, and I imagine
And Paul Steele,
Thinks it can be done, or he's got some numbers where it can be done for $500.
wow, that's a big difference.
And by the way, here's the perfect opportunity, Dr. Paul Steele. If you're watching, I would love for you to come onto the show, or we can go to your location where you can show everybody exactly what you're talking about. All you got to do is catch us on. You can send us an email or message any of us, but the email address is on the spot 32091@gmail.com. You can send us a message through there, and anybody that's got any questions regarding anything, you can send your messages there as well. Michael Heater stays on top of that. We all look at it. We will get back with you. If we don't have the answer right then, we'll research and get you an answer for sure. But that's definitely the easiest way, and the easiest way for you guys to get a hold of us on the spot, 32091@gmail.com. And again, you're open to message any of us on the show. Again, the show people are Mr. John Probst, Mr. Dave Holland, Mr. Byron Bagwell, Mr. Mitch Gunner, Mr. David Rodgers, and Mr. Michael Heater, who's actually working today. You can send us any of us a message, and for sure, we will get back with you.
right.
Go ahead.
And they want to try to get this problem solved as quickly as possible, which we know hurricane season is
Yes. Right here. It's
Here.
I mean, it's here right
Crystal
now.
ball is in there.
And so, I'll keep tabs and see what's going on in the next couple of weeks and keep everyone updated. Also, with Bradford County, they will start its budgeting process this month with 2 workshops so they can hear from all department heads. The first 2020-21 budget workshop will take place on Wednesday, June the 17th and Monday, June the 22nd, both of them at 6:30 p.m. And both of those meetings will be done at the Governor Charlie Johns Conference Center, and they are open to the public.
Okay.
Also, now this is probably going to get Byron's blood boiling a little bit on here tonight.
Nah, Byron had a good meal today. He
Well,
had-
I heard about what this person said and did, and got a problem with your mayor, Gainesville. That's all I'm going to say about that.
You
And I'm
got
just
some
going to
good man.
smile.
Well, what Byron is saying, the city of Gainesville Mayor Poe defends Antifa. Antifa has been classified as a terrorist organization. I don't see how in the world that the city of Gainesville still has someone representing them as the mayor that wants to support such a radical group as Antifa. You know, when you watch all these looting and burning down the buildings as part as the protest that's going on for Mr. Floyd,
Yeah.
well, Antifa is in there.
Yeah.
Well, they're part of the main cause.
Right, and they're the ones that tries to get everyone to loot, deface statues. I know up in D.C. several statues got defaced. One was for Purple Heart recipients. World War II monument was defaced. I mean, it's just terrible, and I don't see how the city of Gainesville will keep this mayor in that seat and support organization like that. You know, one thing I like to see, I mean, if our federal government is really marking them as a terrorist organization, they need to see where the funding's coming from, and those are the heads they have to cut off first and put them in prison.
George Soros, the Democrat Party in part, the Democrat Party members are supporting him. They've got the paper trail for him. That's the reason why that they have and they haven't classified him as that, because that didn't pass Congress.
Correct.
Well, you know, the whole thing
That
is
makes sense
they're
too, because they're
anarchy.
funny.
They like anarchy. That's the type of government that they want. They want an anarchic government, not a government that we have in place right
Well,
now.
they want to use anarchy to provoke socialism and communism.
No, you said the last one that you said was right.
Yeah.
Because the person that started Antifa originally was Joseph Stalin.
Stalin. Yes.
And I was about to say, when your heroes are Lenin and Stalin,
Right.
and you're in power in a city or in a county or anywhere in the United States, it doesn't surprise me that you would back a group that is as violent and is downright evil. And yes, I said that, is downright evil as Antifa.
Well, you know, I'm actually going to call around to up there to Tallahassee, and I'm going to see if there's any way that this mayor can actually get removed from the seat. And hopefully our state government will do so.
He can be charged too.
Yeah.
Because there are laws against promoting riots,
I
inciting riots.
I can tell you this right now.
If he's backing in, that's what he's doing.
If you and Byron and everybody else seen it, I've seen it, everybody's seen it. You don't think Governor Ron DeSantis knows about this right now?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he definitely
He
knows
knew it
about
before
it.
us.
He knew it
Well, I
before
can hear-
us,
I
and
can
that's
hear
exactly
it now.
right. And I can tell you right now, Ron DeSantis, I bet you will be digging into this and figuring out what he needs to do in that situation.
Follow the money trail right on back to the college that sits up there too, please, and find out the actual professors that are backing them and dealing with them and starting groups like Antifa inside of that college too while you're at it, because I guarantee you they're there.
Oh, definitely. You know, and it's just a totally disgrace.
Both colleges.
Not for just the city of Gainesville, but
For this region.
for the country.
Well,
It's
yeah.
a disgrace for your country,
Well-
because when you take office, you even take an oath then.
Yes.
And if you're not going to do your job and do by the oath, then you need to get your butt out of the seat and go sit at your house. Not up there and make decisions for your city. Because that right there is... I don't see how in the world the other city councilmen and women up there can tolerate it.
Most of them agree with it. That's how they tolerate it. Here's my problem with it. You take an oath to defend and uphold the Constitution, right?
That's right.
When you go into an office. How can you uphold and defend something you don't believe in?
Right.
We take our oath of office with zero meaning anymore because they don't uphold our documents. They just don't. They do what they want to do, and the media and everybody else supports them, and everything is propagandized. And by the time it's finished, it's all right.
Exactly.
It's not all right.
You know, what is wrote in black and white is what you have to go by. You know, in our Constitution, in our amendments are a roadmap to keep everybody in check with the law.
Right.
That's what they're there for.
It is.
And I tell you what, they follow the Ten Commandments.
Sure they
do.
Sure they do, and that's part of what their problem is. Have you ever heard the saying, "Religion is the opiate of the masses"?
Mm-hmm.
That's Marx.
Yeah.
I mean, explain this. And this is on the national side, and I'll let it go from this point. Can you tell me how we're allowing these protesters to go on and protest, but there are states that still will not allow people to go to the churches that they're involved with?
Right.
Can you explain that to me?
We talked about that today, and it made no sense. We were trying to figure it out.
Somebody explain that to me, because the last time I saw in America you had freedom of religion. You also had the right to peacefully assemble, but you have both. And if you're having the number of people that are protesting and a church that has 50 members can't have a church service, something is not right with that. So you start putting the pieces together with this riot deal, and it starts to stink.
Right.
Stink really bad.
Hey, I appreciate that, Byron. Again, welcome into On the Spot with David Rodgers. You just heard Mitchell Gunner give some local information out. Bradford County, the regional area, city of Gainesville. I want to welcome in some others right here. Charles McKinney, welcome in. Jason Vaught is on. Sarge, say hello to Sarge.
How you doing, Sarge?
Yeah, there you go. Reed McNeil's in. Dwight Allen said, even though they're offering, I still ain't getting tested. 3 months of this ridiculous nonsense for very few deaths. We talked about that today. Joanne Harper is on. Noah Gibson said what you were talking about the deal with the trash traps. It's a very interesting subject and topic, and maybe Paul Steele, if he'll come on, we can go ahead and let him explain it a little bit further to us as well. Austin, thank you for joining in. No mercy for Antifa. I agree. Which wouldn't, Sarge wants to know this, Byron or Mitchell, I'll throw it to you. Which wouldn't that classify him as a terrorist? I'm not Soros.
Oh, yes.
Are you talking about Soros?
Yes, he's talking about Soros. Both probably.
If anybody is funding that organization or any terrorist organization, they're part of it, and they should be subject to.
There are some terrorist organizations that Soros isn't involved with, but the fomenting of this type of thing, Soros is responsible for all around the world. That man. There's proven tracks, and why the United States government hasn't froze his assets inside of this country and revoked his privilege to be here, I don't know. I cannot figure out, other than he's got a ton of money and it's in people's pockets. I haven't figured
That's it
right
out.
there. I mean, that's the only thing I could figure out, because that man is pure evil.
Noah Gibson says a World War II and British war monuments are getting trashed each and every day, and it's time to put a mallet on them. Dwight Allen says, why can't they figure out who put all the bricks and rocks in the streets for the rioters to use? I already think I know that answer. We talked about that today, Mr. Allen, and I'm going to let Mr. Bagwell get into that as soon as we get into his section. I know he's got a couple of other things to talk
I'm going
about.
to help him lead right over into
Absolutely. I want to just go over a couple of more things on the local level. Carlton Jones says, I agree. Someone had to buy them and deliver them. They did not come from another state. I don't know if they did or if they didn't.
The bricks and things?
You're talking about the bricks and the rocks that everybody's finding in the middle of
and
the
the pipes and everything else that they're finding scattered out throughout these cities.
Katie says all this is BS. I say Gainesville is ripe for a coup, suggested not doing it, though. There you go. Archie Waters says, Antifa. How about that? Good grief. I want to end mask in Gainesville restaurants, Noah says. Well, anyway.
I don't know how you
All
did
right,
that.
I will get to that one right there. Absolutely. I seen that Stephanie Smith was on. No, just I'll leave that one right there.
Yeah.
I seen Stephanie Smith was on, and she's not on mine right now, but I'll make sure I'll get to her. Lisa Tomlinson says, you are right, Byron Bagwell. So wrong that they can riot, but people can't go to church.
How did you? That was her, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just going through
Okay,
that
I
scroll.
got you.
Yeah, I'm just going through that. Just leave that one right there. The Democrats are out to destroy America. You're right on that, but you know that God didn't put us on this world to hate anyone. He put us on here to love everyone. Well, that's what we think it is, but there's some people that don't see it that way. Everybody's not going to see Katie eye to eye on everything, and that is what it is. And until people can change their self in their hearts and in their minds, that's never going to happen.
Right. And the thing is, we've said it plenty of times on the show, we don't have no problem with people assembling and protesting.
Absolutely not.
Whatsoever. And I want to tell you something else. There's people who are protesting that does not approve of the rioting and the looting
That's
that
right.
is going on.
What's happening
all.
is, Mitchell, and we talked about this a little bit, is the rioters and the looters and everybody that's causing anarchy and crimes, they're hiding behind this peaceful protesters.
That's right.
And it's hard for the police officers, the National Guard, and whoever else is there to identify these people because they do their lewd and lascivious acts and their crimes and everything else, whatever they're
They
doing.
dart out of the crowd, they do the crowd, they dart back in.
And they dart back in. And it's hard for the police
can't tell who's
and law enforcement to figure out who it is.
Like a bunch of spineless rats.
Yes, exactly right.
And I'm going to say something that's going to make people mad. But at this point, with all this going on, that's you can just be mad at me. It's time to end all of it. Clear the streets completely. Tell everybody to go home. The people that don't go home, you make them go home.
Yeah, here's the problem.
But no, David, the man that did this and the three other officers that were involved with it have now been charged. Let justice take its course. After that's cleared and people still want to protest, you designate places that people can go
Right.
that can be well monitored.
Well,
And then you let them
Agreed,
protest.
142%.
You
Here's
let
the
them
problem.
protest.
you're supposed
But
to
you-
apply.
Clearly,
You're supposed
apply for a permit to
for
do
a
that.
permit to do that.
And
And,
what-
like I said, I don't have no problems with people walking down the road and blocking traffic as long as they have went and pulled a permit and they had the legal right to do so. And what that does is let law enforcement make decisions of how to reroute traffic around that area. So we don't have no problem with people climbing on people's cars or people running over people and killing them.
Well, here's the thing about this. This has gone far beyond peaceful protest. We're talking about burning people's homes, burning people's businesses, killing retired black police commanders because he was at his friend's pawn shop. Two of them walked in and shot the man. It's on video. You can go on YouTube and watch it if you want to. I was sick about that.
Here's the problem. I agree with you 142%. I do.
You have place.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
What?
These people aren't leaving. They're not leaving on their own accord. They're not leaving with what authority is saying. Now, what are you going to do, Mr. Bagwell? Are you going to start shooting people? Are we going to start clearing the streets? How are we going to get these people off the streets?
They tear gas.
Yes, they do. Hey,
That's
pour
the-
milk through your eyes, and I'm good to go.
That's
So
the-
you hit me with tear gas.
People in gas masks.
People are wearing gas masks.
But
Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but the
Yeah.
peace has to be restored. And I'm not saying
But
you
how
can't
you-
peacefully protest.
Right, but you're saying clear the streets first, and then let's get the. How do we do that without you? See, you understand what I'm saying?
There's no way because one side of the aisle wants peace to be
Yes.
restored,
And then the other one
side
wants
is
anarchy.
running towards everybody,
Yeah.
trying to create a battle to see how far they can take things
That's
to
right.
get media
They're
attention.
defying authority. Byron, they're beating up police officers.
The
They're beating up National Guardsmen.
The peaceful protesters who are not committing crimes are going home.
As soon as
So-
the rioting starts, they're going home. It happened in Newport Richie.
That's what I'm
2
saying.
minutes from my house.
They're going home. The peaceful protesters are going home.
Because they
You're
don't
left-
want no part of
You're left with
burning down
you're
their city.
left with the criminals.
Right.
Correct.
And the thing is, you get in those situations in those towns, and a lot of these people are not even from that area. They're bussed in or they drive there to cause havoc. And it's really sad because what they're doing, there was like an 80-something-year-old woman they talked to that walks through all their stores that are nearby. And I think she also is a co-owner of one of the businesses that are there. And she says, I can't get nothing. I can't get my groceries. I
She's
can't
a
get my
disabled lady,
medicine.
by the way.
That you're absolutely right. She's disabled.
She's disabled.
Right. And
Yeah.
so they burnt down everything for her to be able to survive.
She was in
And
tears.
The
She
first
was in
time-
absolute tears.
The first time I watched the video that he's talking about, I
cried.
I was
man.
in
didn't know.
tears.
I was in tears.
The lady had not. I mean, she had no way to get any of the necessities in life because the rioters just burnt everything
gone.
down. It was
She don't own a car.
Yeah.
And that was her way to get around, was to walk.
And this was a black lady too, by the way. It wasn't a white lady.
No, that's
So
correct.
we're talking about a citizen of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I mean, and that's look. There's
No one deserves
Nobody.
no one deserves their business burnt down to the ground or looted. No one. I
Not
don't
only
care.
that's what you're advocating for.
I mean,
I
no one should have to
They're
have
not.
that worry.
Here's the problem: they're not advocating for that, and the peaceful protesters are advocating for justice for a man who was
Right.
murdered by a police officer.
Right.
Right?
And we all agree it was a wrongful use of force.
Well,
Yes, it was.
But here's the thing: they're going to give him justice. And I knew this was going to bleed over a little bit into something I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. You keep on pushing this past where it is, which is second-degree murder, and you get them to charge that man with first-degree murder, he is going to walk by Minnesota law. And when that happens, there's going to be even worse things go on because they cannot prove this was premeditated because it wasn't premeditated.
Well, now,
Hold
but
on now.
see-
They can't prove it, David. And they can prove they knew each other, but they can't prove that it was premeditated.
hang on. And I agree with you. Me and Dwight Allen talked with you about this a little bit.
Well, I understand.
How about the length of the time that the
Right.
man had his knee on that man's neck?
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
But is it enough? Is that?
Is
hold
it
on.
enough? Is it enough? I think it's enough.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, because-
it was already
Because
it was
that
already
is
in
not a,
handcuffs.
that's not a procedure that they practice.
Well,
That's correct.
okay, that's all good and well. And you're talking to me. I'm not a
Right.
good lawyer.
Right,
I'm not a good defense lawyer.
right.
A good defense lawyer can chew up a lot of good reasons and a lot of good thinking.
Right. But you still have to pass it by the jury. The jury's still got to make this ultimate decision. That lawyer's got to be good enough to make. Is a reasonable doubt? Okay, that's the word that's always brought up in court, right? If
there
you
a
think
reasonable doubt?
if there's reasonable doubt,
It only
then
takes one.
and it only takes one. And you're exactly right.
And here's the other thing I'm going to say. I think this man is guilty of sin.
Absolutely.
You know what I said?
Yes.
I
Absolutely.
think this man is guilty of sin. Who in this country can be a part of a jury for this trial? Somebody want to give me an answer to that? How is this man going to get a fair trial? Because there is not a person in this country that has a TV set or has the internet that has not heard about this stuff that's going on and knows what happens.
Right.
What
Yeah.
happened. Yeah. How is that man going to get a fair trial? And you can't sit back and say he doesn't deserve a fair trial because everybody deserves a fair trial.
Well,
Even-
it's
even
7:52 right now.
Yeah.
7:52, and I will get your attention in 8 minutes and 25 seconds.
I got you.
Go ahead.
I see. I got you, and I see where you're going with that. And that's what I was trying to explain to Byron. I agreed 150% with what you said. I'm just saying that it can be proven also with the length amount of time that man had his name. You got to agree with me on this.
Well,
that he had on
I
his
think
name.
the
He was
basis-
already subdued, Byron. He was already there.
He was already
The-
He
handcuffed.
was already
basis-
handcuffed. If he wasn't handcuffed,
Yeah.
I would say no.
I am
Okay, so
totally-
here's the thing with that, though. I read multiple articles from multiple different defense lawyers.
By the way,
around-
ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. John Probst that's tuning in. He had been with us for a couple of months, back with us on the set tonight. Thank you, John, for joining us again.
Anytime. So I read a couple different articles and stories from a couple different defense lawyers, some that I know, some that I don't, that said that basically the basis for premeditated murder is like this instance that happened around the middle of the day. You have to be able to 100% without a reason of a doubt prove that he woke up that morning and said, you know what, I'm going to kill George Floyd today. And the problem is they cannot prove that he woke up and did that. So the thing is they can either risk charging him with first degree murder and the jury find him not guilty and then he walks scot-free.
free.
There, because you can't charge
No
him with
double
7 degree
jeopardy.
There's no double jeopardy.
because that's double jeopardy.
Right.
That's right.
So then, if you charge him with second degree murder, which is what they've got him charged with, that is they can prove it,
They can definitely prove it.
and two, they're going to convict him of that. Like there is no doubt that they're going to
They're going
convict
to
him
convict
of
him
that.
of it.
Now,
So it's either risk it and walk free, and sometimes the risk is worth it. But in this situation, it's not worth it.
In this situation, it is absolutely
and
not.
I didn't say it was. I was trying to throw a spin on what you were saying.
I understand what you're saying.
I want to see him charged with what the charge is right now.
Yeah.
Murder 2. Let's take it, put his tail in jail, let him do his time. And again, we're going to bleed off into something else that we talked about right here too,
Well,
which is the other 3 officers.
do you-
And we'll get to that in a minute.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to get to that in a minute. But anyway, I didn't want to sort of segue into this, but that sort of led into this. But I did, going back to the local, and I hate to do that. I need to go back to the local for just a couple of minutes here. The first thing is y'all help me, gentlemen. Anybody that's a political candidate out there that's running for office in the region, in Bradford County, whatever your office is, we are doing what we call a town hall meeting. Get your agenda out there. The first one that we did was with Sheriff Gordon Smith last Tuesday night. We used the show as part of that format. But it don't necessarily have to be a Tuesday or a Saturday, does it, Byron?
No.
We could do it on a Wednesday. We
whenever
could do it
you
on
need
Monday.
us
We
to
could
do
do
it,
it on
we
a
can do it.
Thursday. Tuesdays is a great night for us. We have a lot of viewers on Tuesday night. Saturday night, tonight, we're having a heck of a lot of viewers. So whatever night it will be. But I will tell you this. If you're running in a primary in August, you better get in here. We've got Kat Kamek that is running for Ted Yoho's seat, representative seat for District 3, right?
That's correct.
District 3. And we've got her on June 23rd
I think that's
in Gainesville. We got her on June 23rd. That's the only 2 candidates. Sheriff Gordon Smith did it last Tuesday. And by the way, that was a paid political advertisement paid for by Gordon Smith, Republican, for sheriff. So if anybody, I've had a couple of questions asked me if that, no, that was a political paid advertisement for Mr. Gordon Smith.
And we had 2 other Republican candidates for that same seat that has
Yes.
been on this show before. Guys,
Yeah.
we want you on again. We want you to tell your story because we're going to give you time just like we did Gordon last weekend.
And it
Absolutely.
doesn't matter
That's
if you're
sweet.
Republican or
We don't care.
Democratic
Oh, no,
or
please.
no party affiliation. You know, anyone is welcome to do that.
So I'm going to holler out a few. Miss Lisa Alvarez Rogers,
Please.
Denny Thompson, Stacy Creighton, Will Hartley, James Bat McNeil. Think of some others. Kat Kamek is coming on.
Bat, you need to be on here, man. We'd have a good time.
Justin Sapp.
Justin Sapp. Yep. Who's some of the
There's
others? Rollins.
Storm that's running for
Yes.
clerk of courts. Alexander, I think.
I think so. Supervisor of elections. Who's that? Young-
Amanda Seyfing.
Yeah,
and,
Amanda.
Seyfing.
Yeah.
um,
I want to plead to all of y'all to get a hold of us so you can set up your time, airtime, right here on the spot with David Rodgers. We'll do it as a town hall meeting at any location that you want to go. Wherever it is that you want to do it at.
Right, we got another important race that may be coming up,
Mhm.
and that is for state attorney's office, circuit court 8.
Yeah,
Yes, 8.
yeah,
I had to think the
that's
number.
a record.
8, and then it'd be Brian Kramer.
That's correct. And I actually today, Mitchell, Byron knows this. I made a race to the buffet. I'm sorry, man.
I have never seen a person eat more liver and onions than this man in my life. I was sitting back in amazement.
Did Mr. Dwight Allen help now?
Yeah, Dwight went up there twice.
Buffet?
Dwight went up there twice, and here comes David Rodgers.
Y'all went over there to
3,
Old-time buffet.
I was sitting there going, good grief. I can't eat anymore.
Where was my invite?
Destroyed.
Well, we
That's
was
what
trying
I'm
to get
saying.
hold of everybody.
I've been in town all day.
Well, we didn't know. I
See how they do it?
The next time I go furniture shopping, you're more than
Yeah,
welcome.
we're all going to pile up in the car.
You know why they didn't invite us? Because they were afraid that we'll eat too much and they wouldn't get a chance for
Well,
second.
that's
Oh,
true.
I can promise
Listen,
you.
Me and you were the race.
Listen, that would have been a
The
brawl
show
over
pony will
that.
shove you out.
Liver and
You
onions.
ain't kidding.
It's been 8 minutes and 25 seconds.
It's all done.
That's how long he's been on that guy's neck.
Yeah.
It's all done. All right.
There is no doubt that he did that on purpose. There is no doubt that he is guilty of doing it in my mind, but it's not my mind
That counts.
or anybody else's mind.
Right.
As a matter of fact, except the people on that jury and that judge.
One thing I like to ask, maybe we can find this out from our shirt, is how often they do, they take the officers in and they go over what they've done. Is it every year, every 6 months,
It's probably
quarterly?
You know that answer.
It's probably going to vary.
I know.
Maybe Michael Heater can.
I know
if
for
he's
this department, it's every quarter,
Every
listening.
quarter.
and that they meet. All shifts meet together at once. Every quarter.
All right. I want to talk about one other thing in the local, and then we'll get to the national. We have a drive going on right now for the Bradford County Food
That's
Pantry,
right.
Oh, yeah.
which is a big thing going on now for several weeks, 2 or 3 weeks now.
Help us get haircuts.
Yes. So just
Please.
real quick on that. Yeah. Dave actually gave me one a couple of days ago. He said, I ain't cutting much off,
got mine
David.
today.
I'm not cutting much off because when we do this thing, I need it to be full and long.
Yeah.
So there you go.
You're going to feel like you just signed back up to go in the Navy.
So,
huh?
it's going to be worse than that. So Bob Milner and Betty Warren came on a couple of weeks ago. We talked about this drive. They're doing it as well. So for the first $5,000 raised, and I know a couple of our viewers have talked about joining in with me, we're going to do a show on July the 4th. That's the last day that you can do this in front of Dave's shop. And you're actually going to see me get a buzz cut or a low flat top, whatever it is that we decide to do, right, Dave?
We're going to cut your hair off.
We're going to cut my hair off. Not bald, Dave. I'm telling you. Don't do that. Don't do
Shiny.
it. Not shiny. Oh, my God. No way.
Depends on how many people bring in that extra
I
hair.
still don't want it shiny. Oh, my God. I've got moles and everything else. And then for
won't do
$10,000, for $10,000,
Thanks for the warning.
yeah, I already know this. For $10,000, my two compadres are going to do it, and you're going to go all the way, right, Mitchell?
I don't know if I'm going to go all the way.
Close, though.
It'd be close.
All right, and you, Mr. Bagwell?
3 or 2 yard around the sides and the back, and then even it out on the top.
Okay.
Too much information again.
There you go.
Which is going to be basically a high. It's a high.
If you want to get a good look at
Tie and tie.
John's
come,
head.
come,
No,
yeah,
it's
come on,
going to
John.
be shorter than John's
It's
here.
going to actually be shorter. John's
Mine
looks
is.
good on top. Come here, John. Get in front of the camera real quick. This is what the haircut's going to tell us. Look in the back right there. Let's show in the back. That's basically what I'm going to have right there. But say John's got a little hair up here, and it's going to look like that all the way around. Jeez. Now, for $15,000, Mr. Michael Heater, our director, he said he's going to go bald, David. Bald and shave the mustache.
Yeah.
He's going to look like Mr. Clean.
The
Before that's over.
American Dragon.
Yeah, the American Dragon, Mr. Clean. And I'll tell you what, he'll probably be able to get a spot on that commercial. He can take his spot because that's exactly what he's going to look like. Then, for $20,000, our esteemed producer, Mr. Dave Holland
Oh, yeah.
is going to take that ponytail that's this long, and he's going to wallop it.
Every time I hear that, I get nervous.
I know
'cause
you do.
I know 20,000 may sound like a lot, but there's a lot of generous people out there.
Hey,
There
Tuesday
is.
night, I'm going to bring in the scissors, and when we start talking about it, I won't be able to hear.
Just start clipping
Oh,
it. Yeah.
man,
So
that'd
for
be a good sound
$20,000.
effect.
All right, now we're well on our way. I don't have the exact numbers. We'll have them on Tuesday. Mr. Heater says right now in the let's see, that's right there.
Yep.
$583 raised in 21 days of the 20,000. That's not including the pledges
Or this check.
or this check right here that Mr. John Prost's beautiful mom was able. She works for Schuster and Sabin Law Firm, which I'm going to be talking about them here in just a minute. Out of Jacksonville, Florida, ladies and gentlemen. This is how much this show's going around and how much people pay attention and like it. She got her firm to donate a $500 check along with all the items that were in that cooler and everything else. And there was some cool stuff in there.
Oh,
By
yeah.
the way, I did not bring my mug tonight, and I'm sort of mad about that. Like, what is it? What do you call that? That
Cool. It's a cooler.
Yeah,
It's a cooler
no,
mug.
it's cooler mug. So anyway, $500 right here. So that makes it $1,083 for
you.
sure. Bob Milner is supposed to be matching a couple of these. I think we're going to be upwards in the $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 range is what we're looking at right now. And we still got how long left? We still got a month.
That's right.
We still got just a little
Got
over a
time.
month left. And I tell you, and again, I don't know what the food pantry has right now.
I don't know.
So I'm going to give this check to Bob Milner. I want to thank you for donating this, Schuster and Sabin. Miss Lisa, thank you very much. And I challenge the rest of our sponsors
To match.
to match this.
In
I guarantee you, Kurt Miracle. I'm surprised Kurt hadn't matched this yet.
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised. I think it's coming. There's several others too.
Because you know that we have several viewers that
Yeah.
have actually pledged to cut their hair to do this too.
Yes, Miss Udi is one of them.
Dwight
Yes,
Allen.
Dwight
Alan
Allen.
said he would do it.
So for a great
Rose,
cause,
put your hand down. There's no
Right.
hair to cut off except on top of your head.
Oh no, I done talked to Michael here. We're going all shiny.
Oh,
you're going to join Heater with this too if
Whoa.
y'all raise 15? Oh boy, is that the beard too? Everything? Oh my God, two.
I'm gonna have
two
3 necks and a shiny head.
Daggum, man. But anyway, it's for a great cause for the Bradford County Food Pantry. They feed over 200 families a week.
Right.
You've heard some of those ridiculous numbers that they've done over the years. And since this COVID-19 thing's gone on, they can use volunteers. They can use money to upgrade facilities. Anything that you can do, please contact the Bradford County Food Pantry, which I do have a number for them. That's 964-3984. If you're out of town, that'll be 1-904 for you, 964-3984. Talk to Mr. Bob Minner, talk to Miss Betty Warren, and they will get you hooked up.
And to go ahead and let you know, I mean, if you don't have a lot of money on you, you don't have to donate $25, $30, $40. Hey, donate $5.
Yeah.
If you can do
Or
$5
share
on
it
Yeah.
so more people can hear
Yeah.
about it.
Hey, if everybody in this county put a quarter in that jar, we would have $5,000.
And I want to tell you something else that a lot of businesses can do, bigger businesses that's around our area. Each one of y'all can hold a 50-50 every week. You could sell the tickets for $1 or $2 a piece. Y'all figure it out. 50% of it could go to the food pantry. The other 50% goes to the winner. You could do that with any of your companies that you have large numbers. And it makes it a lot of fun. And someone's going to win half that pot every week if you try to do it every week.
Yeah.
And that other half can go to the food pantry. And I'll
That's
tell you
right.
what, it will generate a lot of money really quick. And $1 to $2 a ticket, that's not bad.
Thank you so much.
This
once
is
again.
one of our great sponsors. They put together not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6 of them, right, John? I believe it was 6 of these things put together. It's a nice little cooler. There was, like Byron said,
There's a tumbler in there.
a tumbler in there,
A little fan.
fan. There was
sunscreen.
screen.
There's a,
Yeah.
a cup that has a holder for it
Yep.
in there too.
Yep. A football, a neck cooling thing. Oh my God, keychains. Beach ball.
Beach ball. We forgot about the beach
Yeah.
ball we played with last Saturday.
Koozie. Hey, how about this little fanny pack that look good on Mitchell Gunner and his Speedos? Right here.
It would.
How about that? It would look really good.
Hey, and I
it
got-
would actually,
and I
it would
got-
actually cover up his Speedos.
I
by
got
the
some
way.
orange and blue
Oh,
ones too.
yikes.
Yeah,
Man,
hey,
we
it
just
was
think
covered
you're
up
talking
to
about somebody in Speedos.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so that's what they gave us, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to throw that out there. I know we're getting good into the show. Byron, before we go over to you, I just want to read a couple of comments. And I know you got one that you're going to do that. We'll just read them over, and then I'll let you elaborate on them in your segment if you can remember.
Sure, I'll let you.
So, all right. So, Dwight Allen said because Soros owns the DNC, okay? Bill Gates owns the company that makes the bricks, and Soros is the financial backer.
Not only that,
Yes.
let me make one comment about this. There was money donated to the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, in order to designate COVID-19 as a pandemic. Guess by who? You just said his name.
Bill
Yeah.
Gates,
Bill
Gates.
Gates.
who funded that laboratory over there in China.
Yeah.
We did, and Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Well, yeah, they gave him $3 million. Our CDC gave him $3 million to study the coronavirus.
Do you know Woodrow Griffiths? You know Woodrow?
I don't
Yes.
think so.
You do. He's on. Said hello, Woodrow.
How you doing, Woodrow?
Yeah. Time for sweeps and
He's kin to
dragnets.
my wife.
Okay. Dragnets to trap all with no bails and set a big example for Britain. Archie Waters. Why I am so mad about is the cops pushing that 71-year-old down, and I knew this was coming, and busted his head, and the cops had the gall to say that he tripped and fell. I want to address that in Byron's segment too. Do you know about this as well? And we'll
I've seen the
address
video.
this. I've seen the video as well, and we'll address that. The whole Buffalo riot response team just resigned their positions. 57 officers just stepped down.
Yep.
You're
It's
going to
coming.
see a lot of this. Yes, it's coming.
It's coming. They're not going to put up with it, and then there's not going to be anybody to defend anybody inside of these and keep the law.
And what do we say that's going to cause? Chaos and anarchy.
Anarchy.
Yes, exactly right.
And that is definitely where Antifa wants to take us.
Just don't bring it out to the woods.
Yeah,
You bring it
don't.
out to the woods, you're going to be in trouble. I
Yeah.
can promise you.
Behind
What
every
does
blade
Brother
of
Brady
grass.
say?
Blow them back
Blow 'em
out of
back
your
out
house.
of your house.
They come into your house and blow them back out.
I got some news for them. They ain't going to have to come inside my house if they start coming throwing things at my house.
We talked okay. Renee Stegall-Shaw, you're on. I appreciate the solidarity with the guys that got fired. Leanne Nelson, my sister's on. Hey, Leanne from
Hello.
North Carolina. She's up there in the mountains, and she said we can come up there and visit anytime.
What part of North Carolina?
She is up there by Appalachian State, up there by Boone in that area there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
beautiful.
Yeah,
wasn't
beautiful.
too far from where I
Beautiful.
live from up there. Lived up there in Maggie Valley.
My beautiful sister
Thank God,
said
beautiful.
they messed up their chance, make the point, doing stupid crap there by destroying their own community for nothing, and this looks bad on their part.
Well, I don't think it was completely all the protesters. There were some of the protesters that were participating in the riots. And then I believe there's some groups like Antifa, like what we were talking about,
Infiltrating it.
infiltrating it. And it wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me to find out that Black Lives Matters had something to do with it too, because they're now calling for the total defunding of
All the police.
all the police departments.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, you know what happened this week?
What?
Toy manufacturer, Lego. They said they're pulling all of their Lego sets that represents the police department and fire rescue. All off the shelf.
Sorry, nephews, nieces, and everybody else. That will be the end of anything that I buy you that has Lego on it.
If you see riot police coming at you, don't go up to them and antagonize them. Personal accountability.
And intelligence.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a guy standing there with a billy club, a shield, and a face mask, and you're going to go up there and mess with them. I mean, that's not peacefully protesting, by the way.
No.
It's just not.
Hello, Leanne. Say hello to Leanne, my beautiful sister.
Hello.
Leanne, yeah. This is why the whole riot squad quit. Tell those with peace to go home. I'm going to go off on a huge tangent and put the rest in jail. So, let's see here. Dwight Allen, they need to start arresting these politicians who allow this to happen. Absolutely.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Because the mayors and the governors of the states that they're doing that in are part of this because they are allowing these people to do this and not
Right.
stopping it.
And like we say, as long as you do peaceful protesting, we're not saying that.
Nope.
It's not about a.
That's fine.
It's not
But
about
when
a.
it goes looting and rioting, then it's criminal.
It's not about a First Amendment right. That's not about a First Amendment right
no,
at
not
all.
at all.
If you want to sit there and you want to peacefully protest and hold signs and even use megaphones to get your point out across crowds, great.
Curse of the Boston Massacre has continued since 1770s. Let's see. Personal accountability. John, can you step over for just a second? Carlton Jones. The protesters should have learned from the Michigan protesters. Let me just tell John something really quick. Michigan protesters stand with M16s and shotguns. Nobody's going to ask you to leave. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I just had to get a quick message to John. He's got to go do something for me. Going to ask you to leave. You can even go into government buildings unstopped.
You're destroying.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with what that comment. It goes beyond just normal rioting and looting. You're destroying government property at that point, and it gives the government the right to come defend those government buildings. They are going to send in troops and I cannot. I think it's the Sedition Act of 18.
Sedition, yes.
Act of 18, whatever year that it was written. I can't remember that one right now. I've heard it a bunch of times, and I can't remember it right now.
Well,
Right.
it
It is. You're right.
My thing is, this COVID thing has cost us a lot of headache, a lot of loss of money, and then you go out to these same businesses that have lost almost everything already, barely holding on, and then you loot and you destroy their businesses. Those small businesses, they're done for. They won't be back. They're done.
Hey, excuse me, Mitchell. Okay, first it was Russia. Then
Right.
it was the porn actress.
Right.
Then it was the Ukraine and impeachment.
Right.
Then it's COVID-19. Then it's the rioters and looters. Okay, I've said this. I don't know how. I am not a conspiracy theory person. Half the stuff that I hear, I think people are crazy for bringing up. But there is a definite pattern in this. Over and over and over and over again. And when things start happening like that, anybody that's intelligent looks at it and goes, something's not right. Something stinks. You start putting together things like what we just said about Bill Gates paying the WHO to designate COVID-19 as a pandemic.
Here we go. My sister says he just needs to go ahead and plead guilty and no trial, take the punishment as required.
There is no way in the world I would do that if I was him.
No, oh no.
No.
There's going to be a trial.
Everybody deserves a trial.
Yeah.
I mean, you can waive it. I would waive trial by jury if I was him.
Yeah.
Because there is no way he's going to get a fair trial that way. I would let the judge decide.
And Donald Stevens, let me just follow what he just said. If he cannot get a fair trial, what's it called?
Mistrial. It's a mistrial.
Yeah, sure is.
So-
Good thinking, Donald. That's exactly right.
And
We-
the thing is if he has a mistrial, they're going to repeat the process.
That's exactly
until
right.
he has a proper trial.
Trial.
Well,
And guess what that means
Whether
repeating.
that takes the first trial or 47 trials.
And guess what that means repeating? More rioting, more looting, more of everything.
More taxpayer
There's money going to this. Yes, and that's exactly right.
Here's the question: is he ever going to get a fair trial if he goes by trial by jury? Because I said it a while ago, there is not a person in this country that has not heard about this incident.
Right.
How is this man going to get a fair trial? I mean, the only way that I know of it is waive his trial by jury rights.
Yeah.
And then let the judge decide from the evidence.
That's probably what's
That is the only way I know that he will ever get a fair trial.
Yeah, because he's not going to get a fair judgment
No.
from the so-called what we call peers because
He wouldn't-
everybody knows
He wouldn't-
this, like you said.
He wouldn't
going to get
a fair
it
trial
from
from
me.
me because I
No.
watched him put his knees in the man's neck and kill him.
And I admit that as well.
I mean, I would be biased stepping in, and that's not how we do things in this country.
Again, Noah Gibson, we can do the trial on an undisclosed naval ship or somewhere like that with random selected people. Here's the problem. What did Mr. Byron Bagwell say a while ago? Everybody's seen this. Every social media outlet has repeated and repeated this. Every news media, every newspaper, everybody knows about this unless you've been living under the third rock under the sun. And I don't know if anybody
Maybe some
has.
people in Montana.
Maybe some people in that doesn't have any.
Yeah,
Maybe you can pull some of those people.
Some of the mountain men. That
Yeah.
are,
I mean,
that
you
are
can't even
on that
pull
TV
people
show.
from other countries because we're the laughing stock of the world right now because all this is happening.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, a lot of other countries are watching what's going on right now
Oh yeah.
because you want to know why they want America weak.
To fail.
They want us weak.
Which
Especially
then
China.
brings back into the whole equation the whole pattern of events.
China needs us, Dave. That's not coming from China.
Leanne, I can tell you this.
Okay.
She says, stop wasting taxpayers' money with this trial. You can see for 8 minutes that he needs to be punished. I agree. The only problem, Leanne, is
You have to give
that
him the trial.
you got to give him the trial. You have to. You're guilty. I mean, you're innocent until
Till
proven
proven
guilty. No matter what we see, no matter what videos out there, we all see the same thing. You still, that is your right to get a fair trial.
And I'm going to say this. He has to have a right to a fair trial because if he doesn't get a right to a fair trial, that sets precedence.
Mm-hmm.
And then that means me, you, or anybody else, they can look at and go, it's extraordinary circumstances. You don't get a fair trial. And that breaks our system of government completely.
Donald Stevens has got a point here. He said if he was already subdued and in the car, why was he back out of the car to be filmed?
I don't have an answer for that. That's the first time I've heard anybody say
That's
that.
the first I've heard. Have you heard this? Have you heard this one too? So what is this? Obviously,
Listen.
Don has. Have you?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
There are conspiracy theories, and I have a lot of time on my hands, so I have researched a lot of this. If
Okay.
you watch the video and you watch the screen caps of the video, you can see one that yes, he was back out of the car after he was in handcuffs in the car. They pulled him out, and then this magically happened. Second of all, if you look at the mugshot versus the face in the video, there are major differences. And the
Well,
other
some
thing
people
is
think he's still alive.
that's part of the whole conspiracy. They knew each other, and this was staged.
Correct.
And a lot of people think that it's not coincidence that the city name and the tag were perfectly capped in the picture of the cop looking up with his knee on his neck.
With
They
his
think
hands
that
in his pocket.
Yeah.
Well,
They think
with
that
the
that was
Oh,
word
no, it's
police
the
written across the
Yeah.
tag.
With the
Now,
tag.
I've seen that.
I've
That
seen
makes
that
me
too.
sense.
The other thing is the one Asian American police officer and Derek Chauvin, the one with his knee on his neck, have two different badges on.
I've seen that.
They work for the same department, but they
Yeah.
have two different colored badges on.
Now, somebody told me that Chauvin or whatever is also a narcotics cop. Now, why would you have a different badge if you're a narcotics? I mean, it would say
If you're-
narcotics,
if you're
but
a
why would you have a
narcotics-
different badge?
Typically, in every department that I've ever seen on Cops Live PD and in real life, if you're on a different squad or a team, you typically have a different uniform than a beat cop.
Yeah, that's what I
That's
think.
that's just what I've always seen.
Yeah, me too.
But the badge will be the same.
Exactly.
If what you're saying is true, and they prove that what you're saying is true, and this is all a complete and total setup.
Oh,
I've got some news for you. There's not a whole lot in this world that would make me lose my mind
right.
much quicker because there has been losses of major lives and major,
Major
property.
property.
And and that would be, to me, that would be just like trying to take this country over
Yeah.
by sedition,
By coup.
Well,
By coup.
by coup.
Yeah, the question is why.
well.
I already
and
know
that's-
why. I think I do.
Somebody brought this up to me, and it's not my opinion, but somebody
That's
brought
why.
it up to me. First, they tried impeachment, and it didn't work.
Right.
Then the virus came out, and they thought it was going to destroy the economy. And
You got to
destroy
go back
jobs.
further than that. They tried the Russia scandal. They tried the.
Well, I'm talking just this year.
Porn
porn star.
Oh
Whatever
yeah,
she was.
absolutely. But then they tried the virus, and yes, it's a very real thing, but we've got to look a little deeper than that.
There's medication now that's been proven, that's been lied about, that actually works to cure it.
Exactly.
By the way, the study that they shown that it was killing people and it wasn't effective in healing people, they've proven the whole entire group of them were not to be taken seriously, and the study was nothing but a bunch of bunk.
Hydrochloroquine
cures COVID-19 if you catch it quick enough with it.
So the conspiracy theory is all this is going on to keep Trump from being reelected.
No, I think it goes further than that. I think what it
Why do you
has
think they're also pushing for daggum all mail-in ballots
I don't think it's just that.
so they can be manipulated?
Well, I think that's what the goal is now. I don't think that's what they started as. They started it as not wanting them in there at all.
Well, I don't think that's just the goal, though. I think Trump is a roadblock to the true goal, and that's socialism. What they're doing now is an attempt at Marxism, which is communism. Mm-hmm. Because what you do is you create a permanent underclass. And what they've done is they've made a certain population in this country think they're a permanent underclass,
Right.
Which they're not. And what you do is you use them to rise up against the government and revolt. And that's exactly what that certain section of this population is doing right now. That's how you bring about a communist revolution. It's written in the Communist Manifesto. That's how you do it. It's what Lenin did in Russia with the Bolshevik Revolution. And nobody seems to want to think that that's possible here. Got some bad news for you. They're attempting it right now.
I always thought there was a bigger picture.
Well,
No,
here we go.
I looked at this. I looked at this a little bit after it started, and I started looking at this in a different light. And I said, "My God, that's exactly what they're trying to do." And they're using the American public that has no clue that that's what they're trying to do with them as puppets to do this. Now, you can call me a conspiracy theory all you want to, but if you look at this and you start reading the Communist Manifesto and you read that part of it, that is exactly what they've done.
And if you quit watching the mainstream media, and
Oh my God,
because they're being controlled.
Exactly.
The mainstream media is
Yes.
being controlled, and they are using the media now as a tool to brainwash you
Propaganda.
to believing in that propaganda. Exactly.
If what John Probst has just said about the conspiracy theories that are going around, I'm going to want heads to roll. Literally heads to roll.
That'll cause a revolution in itself.
No, what the government needs to do at that point is they need to charge the whole lot of them with seditious conspiracy and stick them in jail for 25 years. And they need to...
I don't think you can.
Well, and here we go.
Jail.
Well, here we go.
I think you can
What
line
you
them up on
what you
that.
just backed up. I want to back up what John said and you said.
The problem is it's not treason because you can't be...
That's right.
Unless
Yes,
you're at war with
We're not at war.
We're not at war.
Right.
When we're not
Right.
at war, you can't charge anybody with treason, but seditious conspiracy you can, and that covers a group of people, and they will not be able to serve in our government anymore, and they will stick them in jail up to 25 years and a whole bunch of fines,
And they lose all their assets.
and they lose their they lose their
But
assets.
they're going to lose everything.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
And
Donald
if they
Stevens.
ever show out, I know some Americans who will end it for them really quickly.
Here's Donald Stevens. Too many unexplained factors, but it has been done exactly what it was planned to do. Yes, up to a point. I think there's more. There's more.
yeah, absolutely.
There's more. There's more underlying that we don't even know.
Let me tell you something.
This is
Our
just a
pockets
start.
are deep enough to know the underlying.
That's
factor.
correct. Right, I agree.
I don't know. I don't have my pockets don't have to be lined to understand what a communist revolution is.
Well,
I was taught. I was taught.
Yeah,
in
we
school,
know
I
that,
was taught
yeah.
in school about Marx,
Right.
and about how the USSR was formed.
Mhm.
I understand how they do that. Every American should understand how they do that, but that's not what they teach in high schools and colleges anymore. There is no such thing as communism versus capitalism or communism versus Americanism. They don't teach it anymore because we have been taught that we're American. America is evil. We need to pay for the sins of our past, which is a load of bunk. You're responsible for you. You're responsible for what you do in this world.
That's right.
And the United States is responsible for the United States right now and how they treat each individual person in this country. That's what they're responsible for.
And I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I'm going to catch any slack for this, but there's only two things I believe in. I believe in that flag right there, and I believe in my Constitution.
You believe in
And
the man
that
upstairs.
right
And the
there,
man
and the
upstairs.
man
Three.
upstairs, yeah, three. Thank
Three.
you. And I'm going to tell you, it'll be a cold day in hell before you try to convince me to be a communist nation.
But see,
Well-
that's the thing. You have a strong foundation, and you know where you fit in. The problem is the mainstream media are targeting the people
That don't
that want
understand
to
that.
believe anything that makes them a victim.
I
Because
agree.
they don't teach it no more in school.
Well,
Right.
So everyone that's a millennium up to now,
Now, I'm 21 and I get this,
Well,
but
and-
most people don't.
Right.
I'm going to say
was
this.
come from a good family.
I'm going to say this
He
about
was educated correctly by family.
about a misconception about racism in this country. Is there racism in this country? Yes, there is.
Yeah.
There are people that are racist out there. Is there systemic racism in this country? No, there is not.
No.
It is not institutionalized in our government. It is not institutionalized in our businesses. You talk about the police. It's not institutionalized in the police either. Know why it's not institutionalized in the police? Because the police use something called what?
Say, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
what did the police use? What was the big catchword a while back about people flying around in planes and what you could not do to a person of Middle Eastern descent? Do you remember what they were talking
The
about?
profile.
They profile.
Profile, yeah.
The answer is they profile. They keep track of where the crime is. And if in your community there is more crime than in another community, of course they're going to go to your community and try to solve the issue with it. So and I've gotten in trouble with this conversation before, talking to people. People get downright mad at me. But fix the problems with the crime in your community, and you won't have the police officers there all the time.
That's exactly right.
And
you're right. Profiling. I was thinking of the word, and you're exactly right.
The other thing you can do is you can stop electing officials that will allow it to happen. Because if you look, and I know that we had a comment about Atlanta being in Georgia, which is a red state. But Atlanta is the Democrat stronghold in that red state. If you look at where this is happening, it is all in Democrat strongholds. Quit electing people that put you in those places. And I'm not saying vote Republican. I'm saying vote independent. I'm saying vote somebody else other than the general typical people you've been voting for, because they haven't done your communities right.
Give you a prime example. Look at California. Look who represents your state in California. And look at your state, what it has become.
Are you talking about Gavin Newsom, or are you talking about the wicked? No, I won't go that.
No. I want to go on to some comments, gentlemen.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Just one more thing and then I'm done.
Okay.
We talk about how profiling is bad. And
Right.
it is.
Not
So
bad.
why do we, well, you're not, they don't want us to profile people. And I get that.
Profiling is not bad. See, that's the problem. There is a narrative that profiling is bad. When you talk about profiling a criminal, that's not bad, because you're trying to enforce the law.
Sure, but I'm not talking about that kind of profiling. I'm talking about the way that some people profile different races and blame them for things. The problem is we let the media do it, and we let the media control how we profile certain things.
Well, you profile the devil out of white people all the time, telling everybody that they're racist. You did it to Donald Trump supporters, called them racist, sexist, bigoted, homophobes, smelly Walmart people. I mean, take a look at what they did with that. They do it all the time. They just place the blame elsewhere.
All right, here we go. The catch also is that they did not protest. The officers would never have been charged with anything.
No, I do not believe that at all. There is far too much video evidence for any state's attorney to look at and go, that man was killed. And I can tell you there's evidence to that fact. There's been 9 other unarmed black men, women killed this year. and 3 of those officers have already been held accountable for it.
Let's see. Dwight Allen says they were obeying the laws. Leanne says
Who was obeying the laws, Dwight?
I think he's talking about the protesters, I guess.
Well,
some of the lawful protesters, I guess.
The lawful protesters, I have no issue with
Yeah.
at all. I mean, that's your right. Go protest it if you want to. Just like I've been sitting here in quiet protest, and nobody has a clue what I'm protesting about, and I've been doing it all night long.
Right, and we'll get to that in just because I want people to. There's a 22 on that shirt for a reason, and I want to see if anybody can come up why that 22 is there. Leanna Nelson, my sister, said he has made his own death sentence if he goes to prison. Probably.
He's not.
He's not going to do that. Yeah, I mean,
They're going to have to stick him in a federal penitentiary in isolation to keep him safe.
He's going to Leavenworth probably. Let's see. Here's Noah Gibson. Buffet times. I want my buffet time. Well, I'm sorry. I ate your portion of the liver and onions today, Noah.
Guys will get a whole entire group together of
we'll
all the
go.
viewers, and we'll all
Was it good?
Just storm.
The vegetables are fresh.
Storm it.
The vegetables are absolutely
Never
fresh.
ate
They got
that.
fresh squash right now. It's out of this world.
Yes.
Our house.
Old time buffet.
Old time buffet.
Lake City.
Oh, yes,
In
Lake
that,
City.
in that mall area
Never
right
ate there.
Let me tell you what,
good.
Byron. Man, that's what'd you say? That chicken and rice was the
That chicken and rice was excellent. I love my mother's chicken and rice. It's really good, but and my ex used to fix really good chicken and rice. But what I had today, oh my goodness!
Yes, it was. Cassie on, thank you for joining us, Cassie. I'm gonna get through these real quick. Carlton Jones replied to Carlton Jones. That's what I said. They should have armed themselves up to the teeth like those did, and we would not be talking about this right now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We'd be talking about worse.
Worse, probably.
You have to temper that with a little bit of reason when you start talking about that. You don't want armed people going into these protests and starting things with the
You
protests.
start being a vigilante.
But I can tell you this: if they come to your house, it's a different story.
If they come to your house and break through your door,
No,
you got
they're
the right
stand-
to defend
They're
yourself.
standing outside my house and throwing bricks and Molotov cocktails at it. Somebody's getting shot. Period.
Noah Gibson, no, you wouldn't have got thirds today because I beat you to that line. I'm gonna tell you right now. Sarge is saying, "Coffee break. Who's buying?"
David said he ate so much today, they had to shut down the restaurant and wait for the trucks to bring in more food.
Yep, and
Yes.
I was eating this piece of cake too later on.
No, you're not either.
I knew that was coming.
No, you're not. I'm gonna tell you that right now. My hair is getting long. It's gonna be a miracle. Lots of laughs. Yes, you do. No guard. High and tight. Yes, that's what it's gonna be. Dave Holland. He's a beautician. Leanne, he owns a business down here. One of our sponsors, Harry Business, right here. He's gonna do all of our hairs. If that's the case, right along with Sherry Riddle. Right?
Yeah.
Sherry's gonna help too. So I wouldn't want those riders and looters to be armed to the teeth. They killed enough people already. Brother, you're spot on.
We don't need that.
Leanne, if you could come down here July the 4th, that's a Saturday, I'm sure Mr. Dave Holland would let you help me cut my hair.
Yes,
The
I
Zion
would.
folks just donated $100.
What? Here we
Thanks,
go.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Look at that. Here we are. Just keeps climbing, doesn't it?
Yep.
Carlton Jones, if the protesters would have been armed, the looters would not have had a chance.
Okay, now
Oh, go ahead, Bob.
here is the problem with that. How many times have you seen people sit there and watch other people do things that they know are not right and do absolutely nothing?
Nothing.
Hey, I want to say something on that account. You cannot shoot someone for destroying your store. It has to be an act of crime towards you. If they're coming after you to hurt you, then you have the right to stand up and use force. But if they're breaking your store, you do not have the right to shoot them. You do not.
That's
I can make a good
If they're
constitutional argument
if they're
for why I
kicking,
can.
if they're kicking your vehicle, hitting your vehicle, can't shoot them. But once they take an object that can be used as a weapon and they break your window with it, then you have the right to defend yourself.
That's right.
So I wanted to make
Make
that
that
clear.
clear. Okay. I can see that.
If
All right.
they're physically breaking in your store, you could try to stop them with a gun. But if they're throwing bricks, Molotov cocktails into your business,
You have to be inside.
oh yeah, I know.
Can't be outside in the street.
But you know what? I'd be
Be
right
on
there
the
at
roof.
that front door as soon as you got within 2 feet of BAM!
Well,
It's all
what
over the ground.
about they come on your yard
And they're throwing stuff at your house. Yes.
and
Same
they're
thing,
calling out?
Call law enforcement.
No, you call law enforcement, but if they're throwing bricks and Molotov cocktails at your house,
If your life is threatened, if
You have the right to defend yourself.
you have a right to
not only
defend
that,
yourself.
Florida, if you're in Florida, you have a right to stand your ground. So if there's 15 people out in your yard doing things like that, and you're afraid for your life, you've got a heck of a stand your ground case, especially since there's a mob out in your yard.
Yeah. Dwight Allen has a good point. Something that John and you brought up. He said a lot of the protesters joined the rioters.
Sure they did.
And that is very true.
Sure they did.
I mean, you're talking to, the guy, oh, we're going to peaceful. And then all of a sudden, all of a sudden, the protesters that were supposed to be peaceful were right there with them.
The rioters,
They was hiding it.
right? The rioters actually egg it on for other people
to
take
yes,
part in it.
They were instructed well by the people who trained them in how to start.
Well, there was also some protesters going against the rioters, trying to stop them.
I actually
sure.
seen in one place where they actually stopped the guy. He was trying to break up the sidewalk to get rocks to throw at the officers.
And they stopped them.
The protesters went over there and grabbed him, toted him over to the police officers, and let them have him to throw cuffs on him.
Sure they did.
Yep.
They want to be left alone to protest. I would do the same thing. I want to
Exactly.
say one thing about this. Can somebody please tell me what a widescreen flat screen TV has to do with the death
Of George Floyd?
Can somebody please tell me what that has to do with it?
What about busting the window out in the Wells Fargo Bank?
What about burning down a post office, which is
Yeah.
government property?
What about taking over a police department and right and looting it? How about that?
State property.
State property.
And they did state and government property all in that same
What does
town,
that
same
have to do with Mr. Floyd's death?
Nothing.
Burning down small buildings, little mom and pop stores that
You know,
You are
they'll probably will
burning
never
down-
come back.
You are burning
The
down.
big businesses won't.
You are burning down and looting your own neighborhoods.
it's a
You are these elderly people that you are supposedly looking up to, your family members that need help, whether it's medical wise, whether it's whatever wise, you have destroyed the places that they can go. Now, what you're going to do if this gets all over, you know what you're going to do next? You're going to ask the government for help to try to rebuild all this and you know what my answer would be to that? I think the man is shaking his head.
I can tell you this.
I would not do it.
If they start writing bills to help rebuild these places after this is going on, I'm going to my senators and my congressmen and telling them you're not taking my taxpayers' money for that. Because that's my money too. And I'm not paying for places to be rebuilt that rioters got loose because the governors won't enforce the law.
And I'm
sorry.
sorry for the great people that live in some of these communities because they have to. And I'm sorry to say that.
Hey, there's
but
people
you know
moving
what?
out of those blue states every day.
Don't
moving
bring
to
your
red
policies
states.
with us. You're welcome down here, but do not bring your policies with you.
Antifa don't want no part of the country, folks. Do you know why that is, Mr. Dwight Allen? The same reason the Chinese Prime Minister don't want no part of us. The guys behind every blade of grass, there's two guns pointing at you.
And guess what?
Sometimes more.
Maybe.
I know how to defend myself against somebody trying to put my eyes out with blinding moves. I also know how to defend myself against somebody that knows how to punch somebody in the kidneys and has been trained to do that too. So do most of us.
they're going to get us by making bad medicine for us, tainting our imports with.
Well, China's been doing that for years. It's getting better now because they're getting quality control and sending some of that back.
Doesn't make it right.
Yeah, I seen that.
What's going on?
Well, first of all, Leanne Nelson up there thought she's in Boone. It's only 63 degrees and beautiful, she said. Teasing us. Yeah,
Thanks
no,
for
there you go.
sharing that.
Thanks for sharing, Leanne. We really appreciate that.
Fish biting is the next question.
Yeah, is the fish biting? Yeah, that's what we need to know there. Thank you, John, for that generous donation. Just one step closer for me getting this beautiful Goldilocks chopped. Amazon is backing the BLM now.
Won't buy anything from Amazon.
Yeah. Let's see. Jason Vaught, Sarge, your buddy there. Byron says, yeah, no more stepping on Legos at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Nope.
And Mr. Dwight Allen. I was going to
Lives
talk
Matter.
to you about that today. The NFL's backing them too.
And I want to tell you something about the NFL or any major sport, major league sport. I don't care if it's baseball, hockey, football. If I see one player kneel for the national anthem, my TV will go off, and I will not watch your sport whatsoever. And I'm going to tell you, there's going to be millions and millions of people that will be right behind me when this happens. And you know what's going to happen to you? The major league baseball and basketball and football, they will go down the tubes.
Yes, they
and
will.
we will not have no sports. They will cave from within.
Yep, they will.
Well, they
And
say that
speaking
they.
of that, Drew Brees should have never took a remark on what he said. What he said was to his heart about standing up for that flag, and he should have never backstepped on that. No one should ever backstep. No one should ever bow down to anybody. You should believe in what you believe in, and you should not be instructed otherwise by other people or be influenced by you.
Well, Drew Brees, and I agree with you, and I know me and Byron talked about this a little bit. Me and Dwight talked about this a little bit today, too. Now, in Drew Brees' defense here, yes, he was getting some backlash about that, but he came out and said, I knew I missaid some words in that. He wasn't forced. He was not forced. And he come out and said he was not forced to do the retraction. It was in his whole heart to do the retraction.
Well, you
Now,
know what I
you
would have
know the
said?
fact that
You
he
know what I
might-
would have said? And I probably might catch some backlash for this. But you know what I would have said? That's the way I believe. That's the way I was raised. And if you don't want me here in New Orleans, I'll go ahead and retire right now, and y'all can start to suck. That's what I would have told him. Because you know what? He's got plenty of money. He don't need no more money. He could go ahead and leave right now and not worry about it.
Well, and you got to look at what Drew Brees does and what he stands
Oh,
for.
he spends
All
millions of
the
dollars
in the city of New Orleans
Oh, yes.
with the poor, with the underprivileged, with food pantries, as we're doing, all kinds of things. Drew Brees has got a list this long of the things that he's involved in and more. He could easily be the man of the year, and I think he was one time, of the NFL.
Of the NFL because of that, yeah.
Because of the things that he does. The man comes out and what you said what he said from the heart, and now he's having
He's
to
being
make
criticized. Hey,
Yeah.
we have the right to speak.
We have the right to believe the way we want to believe,
That's
too.
right.
Yeah.
That's
We
And
have
I
the
got
right
some
to-
news for you. If I would be
We-
just as offended about that as he was, because he was offended about it, he would not get angry like I do because
A very Christian man.
He is a very, very Christian man.
Yes,
I'm
he
not
is.
saying that I'm not, but he
Right.
has a lot more patience than I
Yeah,
do.
me too.
We have the
But he
right
had
to
two-
protest, and we have the right to protest the protest.
Sure,
Sure.
He has two grandfathers that fought in World War II.
Yeah.
So do I.
He had family members that fought in other wars. He was taught to respect the flag through people who defended this nation.
I'm not sure how many
That's
family
a
members
symbol
you had
of
fighting
freedom.
the war.
That
So
right there
is-
is a symbol of freedom.
Yeah.
And men and women have died for us
Pay the
to
ultimate
to
price.
keep that freedom. The freedom that you have to protest
Yeah.
legally
Comes from it.
comes from that flag. Because I'll tell you what, if we were in another country, if we were in China right now,
Oh.
and you were out on the streets protesting,
You'd be dead.
The military would
Yeah.
come in and shoot you dead right
Yeah.
where you
And
sit.
pick up your body and just dump you all somewhere else.
They would, after they run over you with tanks.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing. The national anthem, which is what that's really about, is about the same thing. You know how many people died to raise that flag? For Francis Scott Key to write that song?
Yeah.
The biggest navy in the world was bombarding one fort
Yeah.
And every time the flag would fall, the post would get knocked down, men would go stand and put that pole back up and fly that flag again and continue to die and put it back up. That's why he cares about it.
Hey, and you know what? And that flag, every time they raise it, there'd be holes in that thing, and it still rose and it still flew.
I believe that flag is actually in the Smithsonian.
It is only an institute. It is
in D.C.
It is.
So
Makes me want to sing that song.
Makes me want to go see it.
I don't
Please
want
don't
God
burn that
bless
place down.
America.
Oh my God! Don't even give them any ideas.
the National Guard
ain't gonna let that
the National
happen.
Guard's in front of it, along with all the other monuments that are going on.
Land of the
Chuck and Elisa
free
Redding, they are fostering the bad behavior.
and guy.
Yeah, they did not do that. Okay, if Archie Waters says if they start riding here, we shoot first and then let God sort them out.
Be careful with that thought, Archie.
Yeah,
You got to be careful with that, man.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You'll end
Yeah.
up in a place you don't want to end up in.
That's
If your
exactly
life's
right.
threatened, then yes.
Yeah,
Protesting here is fine. Rioting and looting here, no, that is not fine.
he did use the word rioting.
Oh, he did?
He did use the
Okay.
word rioting.
Yeah. Oh, if your life is threatened, then yeah, it's Florida.
There is a reason there are laws against walking in the street. Donald Stevens, that comes up.
Why did I all of a sudden have the visions of that video from that truck driver? Did you see the video of the FedEx driver?
Yeah.
Or the FedEx
Yeah,
guy?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, thanks, Noah. I appreciate that. Are you talking about yourself or me? The food fiend is back. Thanks, buddy. Yes, I know, man.
That might have been when I walked in.
Oh, maybe. Okay. Leanne said, why isn't there a change of venue that is not going to convict him? Why there isn't a change of venue that is not going to convict him?
Because everybody in this country has heard about the incident. Well, they're going to convict him.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not finding an impartial jury.
No, none.
Wouldn't get a fair trial.
No.
So, I mean, that's a big part of the problem now. He can waive his right to trial a jury, and the judge can make a decision about it. If that happens, he's going to be found guilty unless there's a whole lot more they're not telling us about it.
Let's see. Donald Stevens says, perfectly timed and executed operation. It's going to be a kangaroo court trial. I don't think the guy got fair treatment either. Which guy are you talking about, Leanne? I don't know. Is she talking about Floyd? I don't know. Leanne, can you tell me which guy you're talking
If
about?
you're talking about Floyd, they killed him.
Yeah.
Or they killed somebody that's supposed to be him. From what I mean,
Oh, boy.
who knows more?
Donald Stevens, only God can judge us, but we can arrange that meeting. I believe this. Let's just keep going. Then he will get a death sentence because they'll kill him the first day. Let's be talking about that cop. Britain is a questionable ally because of the whole arms races in the 1890s, plus compliant in the near Irish takeover of Canada.
Going back to the last comment you read, all four of those cops will be in solitary or maximum security.
Well,
Two of them
is
not gonna
probably
get
not,
convicted.
and this is going to probably make some people mad.
They're just not. That's the other thing I wanted to
Do you
talk
think
about.
with 6 and 4 weeks that they're going to...
Well, either way, whoever gets convicted will be in solitary or maximum security.
All right, let me ask you and Byron something. Do you think the people that's doing all this protesting, all this rioting, and all this looting will take 2 or 4 and be satisfied?
They're not. I mean,
Or
The
will
thing
they
is-
take... Well, it's going to take all 4. And Byron's right. It's going to take all 4. I think to get any kind of satisfaction, if there is...
the problem. The
I
problem.
think,
with that
I
is
think you're going to get 2 or 4.
if
I
you
don't think you're
convict-
going to get 4.
if you convict 2 or 4,
Yeah.
and 2 go to jail and 2 get released, that's what we're gonna have to settle for. Because you can't start another riot and burn some more stuff down and hope that they're gonna turn the other 2 and convict them. It's not gonna happen. It's double jeopardy.
Yeah, but are they
So
going to riot because they don't think...
They're gonna riot either
out.
way. They're
I
gonna
know.
riot if all 4 of them go to jail. They're gonna riot if 3 of them
still
go. If 2
gonna
of them go.
riot.
If none of them go,
They
they're
want to
gonna
hang
riot.
these people up. They want to hang these people.
Yes, that's what they
do
want to
in the
do. Yes, in the
streets.
street.
It's called frontier
Frontier
justice.
justice.
It's what BLM wants. They want the police officers defunded. When they defund those police officers in those districts, what it does is it turns into I am the law in that county, literally. and I'm talking about anybody. It's up to you to enforce the law, and when that happens, there's going to be a bunch of dead people in those cities.
And there's going to be a bunch of people that wish they wouldn't have done what they done.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
you take a look at the numbers of protesters and the people that are doing this, and the number of people that are not, and think about the numbers that are not compared to the numbers that are. Might want to rethink that.
Donald Stevens said, I'll read that, Donald. I didn't get a chance to read that before we came on the show. Cassidy said, every American deserves a right to due process. If we've given every citizen the right to due process, we wouldn't be in this situation to begin with.
Every citizen deserves the right to due process. It's guaranteed to us.
Donald Stevens says it's a psyop. Oh my God. And he put it in big letters. Don't even start, Byron. Can we just keep going?
Please keep going.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep going. I know it because I was thinking the
You're going to
same
get
thing.
me in deep trouble.
You're going to get me in deep trouble too. Britain and the U.S. relations are strained and buried because of the arms race in 1890. A psyop to cause the chaos. John just nailed it. How about you?
What did he say?
Said a psyop to cause the chaos. John just nailed what he said.
I mean, if you think all this just happened to happen, I mean, you
Well,
got some stuff coming from.
There's too many coincidences. I mean, take a look at what's happened in the last 4 years, or the last 3.5 years. I mean, come on. You first, he's a Russian asset, which was proven to be an outright lie setup. I've talked over and over about that on this show. Then we got, let's get him in trouble with the porn actress that he slept with. Okay, so what? He slept with a porn actress. John F. Kennedy was sleeping with Marilyn Monroe. Bill Clinton slept with an intern in the Oval Office. Who cares? I don't care about that at all. Now, if I was Ivanka, that may be a different story. But that's his business, okay? Then we go on to the Ukraine, and impeachment, which they basically threw out on its head because that was invalid. Well, that didn't work. Now all of a sudden we've got COVID-19. Let's destroy the economy. Now everybody is starting to figure out that that's not as bad as it was, and we actually have something that will cure it. Why don't we start some riots? And I don't know for a fact that the riots were caused by this or somebody was doing this, because it's all theory. But it's starting to make sense. Because every time we turn around and something fails, something else has started.
All right, I want to get through these comments really quick. Hey, we've got a great show tonight.
Trump, he has been, excuse my language,
He's the rubber man.
but that man has been through hell.
He's not been allowed to be a president.
Right.
And how he's done what he's done is a miracle.
You know what he's been doing? Fixing issues and issues and issues and more issues. When does he have the chance to just sit back and do his job duties and his job roles as the president of the United States?
He mentioned the other day that he wants Congress to get back to work on coming up with another, stimulus package.
Sure.
If he didn't care about this country and didn't care about you think he would be telling Congress to go ahead and start working on another stimulus package to hand you out more money that we really, as a government, can't afford to go further in debt with?
And now
y'all are burning buildings
down
and destroying and costing states more and more money?
Now, is that a
how
good
about
thing?
the Congress just showing up and going to work, period?
Right.
Nancy Pelosi's sitting in her house and
Eating ice cream out of her
eating
expensive
ice cream
refrigerator.
out of her expensive refrigerator, and I'm sitting here going, the Senate's over here working, why are you not? You're really proving to me that you are even anywhere near close, not even anywhere near close to my vote, by staying at home. What is wrong with you?
All right, gentlemen, I want to keep moving on. John Probst, Noah Gibson. Welcome back, John Probst. Yes, he's here for a show tonight. John does have to go back to Tampa. He's got some things that he's working on. He's got a business. I want you to visit, what's the name of the business again, John?
Designs by Pro.
Designed by Pros. He makes stickers. He makes anything that you want. He's got his own little thing going down there. He's a busy man with it. And maybe one day John will be able to come back and join us on this show full time. But right now we've got him down in Tampa, keeping an eye out for some stuff for us there. Plus he's got his own business down there as well. But for tonight, absolutely welcome back, John. This is a coup attack in the United States trying to affect the upcoming election. Lisa Tomlinson Moody said, New World Order. Problem is this nation is nearing civil war and more. That's the plan, Donald Stevens says.
He's on a roll tonight.
Yes, he is. Dwight Allen. The media spews lies to control people.
Oh my God! And if anybody out there thinks that any of the actual media that's been trusted in this country forever, the CNNs, the NBCs, the Washington or the New York Times, the Washington Post, if you think you can trust anything that comes out of their mouths, you need to start doing a little bit of research into them. Back until about 1900, when they started doing all of this, when all the progressivism actually started in this country under Woodrow Wilson, and you need to take a look at some of the things that they've done and they've said to people like Adolf Hitler, and burying the Holocaust way far back in the New York Times, or just outright denying it, or outright denying the famine, the forced famine in Ukraine, which killed 1 million people in the USSR.
1901?
No, that was way after that. That was like 48 or 49 or something like that.
What was the one in 03? That was the potato famine.
That was in Ireland.
Okay.
But if you go back and you start looking at things that we know today that these media outlets have actually said and done and tried to cover up about, you will start not to trust some of these outlets. I would not use the New York Times for anything. Maybe to start a fire.
Toilet paper.
I wouldn't even do that. I may start a fire with them, but I wouldn't do anything with the New York Times, period. They are a bunch of lying, backstabbing, basically enemies of the people, just like Donald Trump said.
Yeah, is Fox in that list?
Fox is an odd character. Fox, half the time, Fox will come on and they will say stuff, and I'm like, okay, now that sounds about right. And the other half the time, they do things just like the other media outlets. You have to watch and monitor what they say now.
Yeah.
Every media outlet has an agenda, just some of them are a little different than the others.
Well, everybody accuses Fox of being right, but if you've watched their coverage on these riots and these protests, I mean, they sound like every other media outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Wow. And ladies and
I
gentlemen,
want to say something real quick, and then I'll probably be done for tonight. But you know how I was talking about the flag a while ago?
yes.
If you go to the nationalflagfoundation.org, and I want you to go to that website, and I want you to read what every fold means, and you will get a better understanding of what that symbolizes.
Every fold, every star, every color, that's exactly
It
every stripe.
symbolizes
It symbolizes something. And really, I learned all that before I went into the 5th grade.
Yeah.
I knew everything about this flag. Do you know when they get taught this in today's day?
they don't.
They don't.
You know,
Lies, as John said, the problem.
I'll give you an example. The first fold of the flag is a symbol of life.
Life.
Yeah.
The second fold signifies the belief in external life.
Mm-hmm.
And the third fold is made in honor and tribute of the veteran departing our ranks and who gave a portion of his or her life for our defense of our country to attain peace. And you are to go ahead and keep on reading it because, I mean...
Yeah, it's great information.
You
It
can
is
stop
great.
now, please.
Yeah. Because it gets even in, yeah.
Yes.
We'll all be
If you-
crying at this table.
If you read that, you will get a good definition of what that symbol means to our country.
Yeah. And anybody, I can answer for me and Mr. Dave Holland. Me and Mr. Dave Holland served this great country. And we did it with pride, we did it with honor, and we did it by taking our oath to what? Defend this country against foreign and domestic. Let me specify that again. To defend this country against foreign and domestic. Message to you rioters out there that are destroying buildings, destroying lives, making people's lives a living hell. You are a domestic enemy. Look at me. I may get in trouble for saying that,
No,
but you are.
No,
you are a domestic
If you
enemy.
if you get in trouble from anybody about that,
Yeah.
David, they're wrong.
Oh,
They're utterly and entirely wrong. You took an oath to defend
Yes,
this
I
country
did.
against people who would do stuff like what these people
Are doing. Sarge took the same oath. And y'all know other people that took the same oath. And I'm telling you right now, y'all are the domestic enemy. You can call it domestic terrorism because that's exactly what it is. And I tell you what,
should be arrested
and that's
for.
what they should be arrested for.
And guess
You're
where you
exactly
go?
right.
Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Yep.
Yeah,
You can chop up sugar cane. But anyway,
To
let's see.
oppose
Dave
shot
and
by
fell asleep.
military.
Oh, Dwight Allen, are you calling me out? Dwight Allen said David fell asleep in that chair while Byron shopped after lunch.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. But daggum Dwight Allen.
I walked over to find David. David was like this.
Oh, man, I can't believe he called me out on David.
Got his belly full and fell asleep.
Brother, I was
Straight down on
actually
that
almost
couch.
snoring.
It was like this. I walked over there and went, David Rodgers. Huh? What?
Yeah, we're going.
Let's get out of here, man.
Oh, man.
I do want to say
On
one
the
thing
spot.
before-
That's what it's all about.
All right, I'll tell you what. Say one thing that's a closing argument. Closing argument
Okay.
with that.
Well, it's not all right. This is
something.
something.
Closing thoughts is what I meant.
My closing thoughts is there is a really good poem by a black poet called Old Glory, and this next Tuesday, I am going to find that poem and I'm going to read it to everyone here. It is absolutely great. Bring your tissues, David Rodgers and Dave Holland, and I want to tell everybody one more thing as a closing thought. We are all Americans. Every single one of us. And you know what? That makes us equal. That makes us equal at birth. That does not make us equal in real life. You were given a God-given talent of some sort. And it's up to you to make up what you do with that God-given talent. A lot of people think that statement that I just made is wrong. But in life, you have to make of yourself what you can. Whether it's become a barber, whether it's become a person that works for a hospice, a person that works for a steel company, both the barber and the person that works for the steel company are retired from the military, or you work for the city, like Mitchell Gunner does. You do what you...
Or
County. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just about got myself in trouble. Okay. You work for the county. It's not much better, but okay. I'll give that much to you. Okay. For the county, you have to make what you get as talent, and you have to take it, and you have to be who you can. You have to understand what's right and what's wrong in life. And you have to go about living life like that. Protesting is a great thing. It corrects wrongs in this country. Rioting and looting are not.
Right.
You are breaking the peace of those cities. You are keeping those other people that live in those cities from their lives, their liberties, and their pursuit of happiness. And we're all guaranteed that from our government. And when you do that, there needs to be consequences for it. And I truly, truly hope they go back and watch these videos and find these people that are doing it, and they pay a very, very stiff penalty for it. And they need to stop it before it continues on, because if it continues on, there is going to be a very stiff penalty for it if that Sedition Act is invoked, because the military is going to come in.
Yes, they are.
And by the way, one more thing before I finish my closing thoughts. It will not be the first time that has been used in modern history. They used it in Alabama during segregation to get black children to integrated schools. So it has been used before. Oh, and one of the key points that I wanted to talk about tonight, I'm going to say too. There's a lot of people who have been saying things about President Trump's walk to the church in Washington, D.C. I give a care less what you think about that. And I'll tell you why. Because the man believes in God, and he wanted to go show people with a Bible what is possible when you're in this country. That church will be rebuilt. The word will be kept being spread. That's the first thing. Second thing I'm going to tell you is the news media lied through their teeth about what happened when they cleared those protesters out of that park. There was no tear gas and there was no rubber bullets. That was confirmed by the Department of Defense, and it was confirmed by Park Services, which controls that park. They were shot with something called pepper balls, which acts like pepper spray. The same thing police officers and people in Department of Corrections and everywhere else uses to control people. Before they did that, they announced over loudspeakers 3 times to clear the park. They ignored it. They were removed. And it's exactly what should have happened. God bless America, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend.
Dave Holland.
When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one person to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitled them.
Yep, it was right there, and that's exactly right, Dave. That is very good. John Probst, since you joined us for one night, I know you chimed in. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Got anything? Final thought?
2 things.
Okay.
One is a quote that's kind of been heavy on me this last couple weeks, getting back to work and just having genuine conversations with people. United we stand, divided we fall.
Yep. I've been preaching that too.
So sweet and direct.
Yep. The second thing is your voice matters if you use it the right way.
Amen.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
When you protest, guess who's there reporting it? Reporters, national news, local news, newspapers, bloggers. Everybody knows about your protest. I can't tell you how many times when I was in elementary and middle school and I was on picket lines with my union grandparents. And I can't tell you how many interviews I did with Channel 4 and Channel 25 in Jacksonville. I could probably look up 6 or 7 different ones. They report what happens. The problem is people go and they start looting and think that that's going to fix the problem. Your voice matters when you use it correctly.
Thank you.
You are the problem. You are the problem, not the solution.
Yep. Closed ears don't listen.
Listen.
Well, I seen something that Donald Stevens shared a while ago that they destroyed the 1st Black Regiment statue. and that regiment was the 54th Regiment
54th Regiment.
out of Massachusetts.
Are you kidding me?
And there's actually a movie made about the 54th. It's
Called
called
Glory.
Glory. Very good movie. If you haven't seen it,
Are
you
you
gotta go grab it
kidding
and
me?
watch it.
That was a
Uh,
civil.
Yeah, I mean it's terrible. So these people, they don't know nothing about our history whatsoever. They don't want you to know about our history whatsoever. And you know the thing is, if you start tearing down all these Civil War monuments that are being removed everywhere in the United States, you know, on this side of the United States of the Mississippi, guess what happens? You cannot use that tool to educate your kids
Right.
and their kids after them, and history will repeat itself. That's what will happen. We don't want to see that bloodshed ever happen again in this country as it did in the Civil War. Brothers fighting brothers. I mean, what a terrible, terrible time.
With the modern weapons of war, 600,000 is going to be a drop in the bucket.
And what did Lincoln say after the Civil War?
Which one?
He said that all these men were American soldiers.
It's because they were.
Yeah.
But see, that's
So, come on, people. Let's quit destroying our history. Even though some of our history is bad, but still let it stand so we don't repeat it. Let's use it as a learning tool, not to go back there. That's the way I look at it.
And
That's my food for thought. Dave.
Absolutely.
Over to you.
absolutely right, Mr. Gunner.
I got you speechless, huh?
He's thinking about them liver and onions.
No, he's thinking about that statue. That
first of all, I'm gonna be a little somber. Most somber you've probably ever seen. I apologize for not getting to everybody's comments. There was a lot of great ones, and I really appreciate them. And I'm gonna try to go back and pick up on some of this on our next show. I signed up to serve this country. David Holland signed up to serve this country. Byron Bagwell's daddy, which I know so well, signed up to serve this great country. And I hate to see it being destroyed by people that don't understand what they are doing. And what this flag stands for and means. Dave Holland, do you feel the same way, sir?
I'd die for it.
If I have to defend her, I don't ever want to do this, Mr. Gunner. If I have to defend her against domestic terrorism, if that's what it takes, to defend this flag, to defend this country, to defend the great people that I know that live here, that's what I'll do. I don't ever want to shoot my own people or my own kind or kill anybody. But if that's what it takes, not only will I do it, I know there's gentlemen here that will do it as well. I love this country. I love what it stands for. I still think it's a great country.
yes, it is.
I think there's great people here. There's smart people here. And to see this country the last 2 weeks just fall apart because of the actions, as John said, of a few. I am not going to stand for this anymore. I love everybody. You have your own right to your beliefs, your political beliefs. We can tend to agree to disagree. That's what makes this country so great today, because we can do that. But for you, and I'm talking to you few, because it is a few in the scheme of things, want to go out and riot and pillage and burn your own neighborhoods down,
Murder their own people.
murder your own people, do things to your own family, because that's exactly what you're doing. You've got to remember these neighborhoods that are in Minneapolis, St. Louis, Atlanta, New York, wherever. Last time I checked, Mr. Byron Bagwell, correct me if I'm wrong. Do all those cities and all those states and all those communities fall under this?
Stars right up there, and right up there.
Right, yeah. Doesn't it fall under this?
50 states of the stars represent the 50 states of the Union.
Just because I don't live in your community, it doesn't matter. Because when we went overseas and I was part of Operation Desert Storm, and Dave was part of some other things, and the Libya thing going on, and any other conflict that we had going on, I wasn't just fighting for myself. I wasn't just fighting for my hometown. I was fighting for the great land of the United States of America. I didn't even know who I was fighting for, and I still don't. But I do know that they're Americans, and they live here in this country, and that's why we signed up to do what we did, and that is to join the military to protect our rights and our freedoms, as this man says all the time.
Yes, sir.
And if I was to go back, I would do it again and again and again and again. Why? Because I love this country. I believe in what this country stands for. I believe in what our founding forefathers did for us, and all the men and women that died for this right here, in this place that we live in today. In this 50, I just had to calm Byron down because I was, and we're going to talk about this. You destroying monuments and parts of history, as Mitchell said. What gives you the damn right to do that? What gives you the right to loot and burn American history? That right there, to me, Byron, I know it's not the proper definition. To me,
It's treason.
it's treason, and that's exactly the word I was going to use. It's treason,
It's treason
against the United States of America and this great country and the people in it. And I'm telling you right now, man, if I ever see anybody destroying a monument, I guess we'll have a new host for the show, because I'm going to
for the show too, because somebody's going to get hurt. I've got something to say about this too. Mitchell Gunner said this. I want this to stay fresh in people's minds. That monument that was destroyed was from the 1st Black Regiment that was in the Union Army that fought in the Civil War to free slaves. And you destroy the monument of your forefathers?
I don't get it.
Because they don't know their history.
I flat don't care.
Right.
At this point, I don't care anymore.
They don't know the history of this country.
You have turned yourself into what you are fighting against.
The Tuskegee Airmen, the 54th. I would love to have served with you. It ain't about black, white, blue, green, orange. Yes, it is. It's about all of us. It's not about a division of race, racism, or whatever. If you sign up for the military, whatever branch it is, you are serving the United States of America and the great people that live in it. And if you don't believe that, probably shouldn't be serving anyway, which I doubt that. I guarantee you, when you sign up for the military, you're taking that oath and you're swearing that you're going to defend this republic from domestic and foreign enemies. And again, I didn't think Byron, Mitchell, David, John, I would ever see it in my lifetime that we would have domestic terrorism on our soil.
I mean,
With the exception of the Rodney King thing, that's probably and that was isolated to mainly Los Angeles.
Well, we've had it before with the Oklahoma City
With the bombings. Yes.
and we've had it before with Barack Obama's friends that he had his coming out party,
Right.
The Weather Underground.
I didn't think
Bill-
we'd see it in this mass.
Vanadine Dorn and Bill Ayers.
Yes. So,
and on that note, David, while these people are doing this, I wish they'll take a look back and just think what today is. Today is the anniversary of D-Day. You know how many men died on the beaches of Normandy today?
Bunch.
Think about all those men who died on Normandy.
It wasn't just Normandy. It was Omaha.
Iwo Jima, all of them.
Yes.
But he's talking about.
I'm talking
specifically
to
on-
everybody. You're just specifically talking about,
about D-Day,
D-Day.
all the beaches that were going on.
Because today is the anniversary.
anniversary. And I even forgot that,
Without those men, we would either be speaking German or we would be speaking Japanese. One of the two right now.
We wouldn't be America.
No,
Nope.
we would be a part of Germany or we would be a part of Japan.
And when Japan hit Pearl Harbor, they woke up a sleeping giant,
Yeah.
and it bit them in the rear.
Yes, it did.
Pray that y'all don't wake up a sleeping giant.
Yeah, well,
And you're right, Noah Gibson. I will leave on that comment. You're right. I would love to have stood with the 54th Regiment. I just said that the Tuskegee Airmen, if they needed me to fix that, whatever it needed, I would have stood beside them. You know what? Because we were all fighting for the same common cause, and that's to protect the freedoms and the liberties of this great country and the people that live in it. So, again, we will see you Tuesday night. Like I said, I apologize for the comments that we didn't get to all those. There were some great comments there. Brother,
It's all right. Everybody
Yeah.
can feel it, brother.
yeah.
Sometimes
It's,
sometimes you have to. Sometimes people have to do what you just did to make people understand. And our audience understands when you do that. Exactly what you feel. So
yeah, and that's exactly right. Look at everybody here. They're all commenting in a heartbeat. They would do it. That's what, you know why that is? Because we all believe in the same cause. The people that watch this show are old school and patriots. They understand. They got taught this and they believe in this. And I wish our young people, John believes in it. I don't know. John, are you just, I don't know where, you must have got lost in the shuffle. But John believes in this stuff. John knows right from wrong. John knows about this great country. He knows about the flag. He was saying about the folds. How does John know that? It wasn't taught in school because John was raised by good parents. John read the books and read the history books and just understood. But if I could get these other young people to understand this, we would be a country that is better off. I'm telling you, they don't understand Byron history and where this all originated from.
David, it's like I've been saying for a long time. Our school system has been taken over by people who hate this country and think it's evil and think it owes a debt to everybody because of the sins of the past. It's not an evil country.
Yeah, I
We're
want to.
not an evil country. Our concepts are not evil.
I see a comment here about D-Day from Noah Gibson that it was in the thousands, and the waters turn red in blood.
Mm-hmm.
Byron's mama hit it right on the head. If you've been part of a military family, you understand 100%. And she is absolutely right.
Yep.
Mr. Bagwell, I hope you're listening. Thank you for your service. Thank you what you've done. Thank you, David Holland, for your service.
Thank you, David Rodgers,
I appreciate
for your
that.
supreme
I
service
love
as
each and
well.
every one of you. Anybody that served.
And thank
this
you,
great
Byron
message.
and Mitchell, because I know you guys' hearts are just as deep into
Yeah.
it.
Well, I mean, I had two grandfathers. One
John.
fought in the Battle of the Pacific. The other one was there in the trenches of the Battle of the Bulge. I had an uncle in the Korean War. Had an uncle in the Vietnam War. My dad served during the Vietnam War. So
Yeah. You're
I'm
loaded.
a patriot.
Oh,
I
yes.
believe in that flag and I believe in that Constitution. And you ain't going to take it away.
You know, these.
No, sir. I
No,
am not going to.
You ain't going to burn it
You
either.
know, these young
Oh,
people
no.
today.
Oh no, you don't want to burn a flag in front of me.
And I instill those same beliefs in my kids.
Yes. Somebody's gonna end up.
Very good.
Oh,
You know, these young people, Byron, Mitchell, they just don't
they're
understand.
educated, David. They've taken away the education that we used to have, and they've been fed a bunch of lies.
But we do have a few that escape.
I mean, yeah,
We do
now,
have a
there,
few
there
that-
are there are
Yeah.
there. Now, I'm not saying all of them, but
No.
they're all fed it. You know, I was fed it when I was in college. When I started to wake up is when I was starting to be fed all of this stuff, and I'd been taught completely different when I was a kid. And I started looking at this, and the more I started digging into this, I thought, just shut your mouth, give them the answers that they want, so you can hang that degree on your wall, and then go, my God, they are brainwashing everybody.
Now, I want to tell everyone something. If you're walking around out there and you see a vet that's wearing a hat, walk up to them
Thank them
and thank them for their service.
every single time. Every single time I see one.
I do the same thing.
Freedom isn't free.
Thank you for your service.
If you can
every
afford
single
it,
time.
if you can afford it,
Not lunch.
buy them lunch. Hey, buy them a cup of coffee. I'll tell you what, most of them don't want it. You know what they?
I do it for some of the officers
Yeah.
over in Gainesville every
Yeah.
once in a while, or
Yeah.
a deputy from Alachua County, or one of the police
Yeah.
officers, GPD. I'll be up there at Subway. I'm at Subway. I said, "Hey, you paid for your meal yet?" No. He says, "Don't worry about it. I got you."
Yeah.
Again, just remember, I'm one of the lucky ones that is sitting here to be able to do this show.
Yes.
Dave's one of the lucky ones
Yes.
to be sitting here doing this show. Mr. Donnie Bagwell, which I love and respect so much, he's over there with his beautiful wife, Byron's mother, that made us this beautiful cake. By the way, Miss Bagwell, I'm fixing to get a piece of.
Oh, me too, brother.
Yeah.
Forfeited your peace while ago.
You might see me
Yeah.
climb over this table to
I
get
was
it.
just going to say, yeah, I know you're waiting for me to end the show, and now because I see you, it's an over.
Is there
You
any
see all
left?
up on the table?
Yeah,
I'm ready
But-
to dart.
yeah. But me and Donnie's had this thought before.
32 years.
I can tell you right now, if they needed members, and I know we're old and they probably would never call us back, but I know 3 men that would be ready to roll. And I can speak for Donnie Bagwell. I know I can already speak for Donnie Bagwell.
Yeah.
Me, you, and Donnie, I don't know what we'd be doing. We may be pushing paper. I don't know what we'd be doing.
They turned
But-
me away during the 9/11.
Yeah.
I was
But,
too old.
but just remember, we're just the lucky ones. There's thousands of men and women that paid the ultimate price for that.
I read the list off the other day.
Yes, you did.
Just a few of the battles
Just a
from every
few.
war this country has ever been
Been
in.
in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
one more thought.
okay.
One more quick thought. I will continue my protest. I will continue.
Oh,
my,
yeah, that's
No,
right.
no, let me
Okay.
continue it.
Okay. You gonna continue?
I'll
Okay.
continue it on
Okay.
Tuesday, and we'll
All right.
talk about it on Tuesday.
Okay, that sounds good.
I know y'all can't read this. So we'll read it on Tuesday.
Okay. Just one quick thing. Cristobal is in the Gulf. I was trying to keep up with Austin's thing. Was you trying to keep up with it a little bit? Looks like this thing's going to be pretty big. Looks like Alabama, Mississippi, somewhere there, maybe Louisiana. Renee, y'all please buckle down over there. I love each and every one of you.
Yep.
Katrina was horrible, and I just hope this thing don't get that way. Maybe something will slow it down here. But y'all just buckle down. If y'all need to get the heck out of there, leave.
Come on over here.
Right
Come
now,
over
David,
here. Yeah.
Right now, David, you don't want it to slow down. You want it to be a fast
Moving.
because
Yeah.
right now it's not going to, as far as it looks, it's not going to bring a lot of high winds,
Okay.
but it's going to bring a lot of rain. And that what we're getting right now is some of those.
Is it a category? Is it category 1, 2? Do you know?
Still
or is it still tropical
I
storm?
still think it's tropical storm.
Okay. Okay.
So we want it to stay
Yeah.
stay a little grade like
Yeah.
that, but we want it to move fastly so we don't have
Yeah.
areas
Yeah.
of flooding.
What I would really like to see happen is I would like to see that thing move very quickly, compact very small, and then park itself right over the southern tip of Clay County and just sit there for about 3 or 4 weeks.
He wants the lakes to fill.
Yeah.
He wants the lakes to
Because
fill.
obviously, I mean, it's not going. You're not going to flood Keystone. It would take
No,
a
it would
flood
take it. Yes,
of
it would.
biblical proportions for you to flood Keystone.
It'll all
Instead
run
of
down
floods.
here to
I'll
start.
be happy.
Okay, she said they're good. It's headed for central Louisiana coast. Well, they still don't need it. And y'all, yes, you're getting some outer bands for sure. But y'all just stay safe over there toward the Gulf Coast. We love all of you. So please stay safe. Show Tuesday night. Don't forget. Bradford Food Pantry. If you want to be a candidate on the show, make sure you get a hold of us on behalf of Mr. Byron Bagwell,
Thanks,
Mr.
sir.
Dave Holland, Mr. Mitchell Gunner, Mr. Michael Heater, Mr. John Probst, and myself. Thank God. God bless you guys. Great show tonight. Thank you for tuning in. We'll get to these comments. See you Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Have a great weekend.